All right. Nice. Good way to start the show. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Countdown time?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Mhm.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
Nice.
All right. Everyone good?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Pixel Life. This is episode 30 for November 15th, 2018, and this week we're going to be sharing our guide to Black Friday this year. What games you should target, what games you might want to pick up that are underrated, what the best deals are. We're going to give you our tips for Black Friday to prepare you for next week. Also, we're going to be covering Dark Souls and Diablo 3's ports for the Switch. We're going to talk more Tetris Effect, all kinds of stuff. So let's get started. My name is Josh Faulkner. Zach Anderson is out this week. He has the unfortunate overtime and his 9 to 5 that he's got to deal with. So we let him sit out this week. But Shannon's here. Hi, Shannon Moore.
Hi, it's great to take the number 2 spot.
I know, right? You got an upgrade. You got to bump up, man.
I know, right? No more lower half. No more lower grade. I'm like up in the big leagues now, dude. I got to step the game up.
Absolutely. So to take over for Zach, we brought back our good pal Mike Grimm. Hi, Mike.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing?
I am doing awesome, and we have your spawn here, Elena Grimm, as well.
I am Spawn, bottom of the tier Spawn. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Sorry, you're still at the bottom, Elena.
Yeah, oh God, I'm always last.
Only by age. Only by age.
We're going by age. No, wait, Dad, you would start then because you're the oldest.
That is true. Not
I
the
just stuck
wisest,
you down
but
there
am
so I
the
could use the
oldest.
spawn joke. So I'm sorry, it's just the way it went. So
Sorry for being off last week, guys. I think Josh let you guys know my boyfriend had a cold, so I didn't catch his cold, but I caught his cough. So bear with me if my voice is a little rough around the edges today.
all right, well you're good. That's what editing's for, right?
Deep in my voice. Do it.
All right. Thanks everyone for being here. If you want more from us, head for thatpixellife.com. You get all the links you might be interested in, including how to follow us on Twitter at thatpixellife. If you want show updates, you can subscribe to us on YouTube and watch the unedited recording sessions of each show each week. You can join our Facebook group there if you want to talk about the gaming industry and video games with us on a daily basis. You can also subscribe to our Patreon page if you want to help fund the show and keep us running. You get some incentives for doing that as well. And there's links to every podcast platform we can be found on there as well. So check that out if you get a free minute. So I guess the holiday season is officially here, right, guys?
Yay, I guess.
Goodbye,
Who's
Mike.
got their Christmas tree up?
No, screw you, dude. No.
Day after
No one.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, tree stays in the box until after Thanksgiving.
So how have you guys been doing for like holiday spirit? Because I have been lacking it. Like my office, I'm basically working a desk job and like nothing's decorated and I don't go out much. So I haven't seen a whole lot of anything. How are you guys doing with like the holiday season? Do you feel it?
You are my spawn then, because
Yeah,
I'm usually bah humbug on that. Not that I don't appreciate it, I just don't really outwardly celebrate it like, for everyone to see. For me, it's about family and day of and, all that fun stuff. But no, I get it. I don't knock it. It's just that's not me.
I love it, man.
Man, like, yeah, I'm totally on board with Josh. Like, I want to just like, at least when I worked, like, I'll go into this a little bit later, but when I worked retail, at least I was immersed in it. You know what I mean? Like, for better or worse, I was in it.
You can wrap my ass in garland, and I would wear that shit 24/7 if I could. I love it. I love Christmas. See that's I'm glad you mentioned that retail, because I used to be a manager for Target, and I actually kind of miss working Black Friday. A lot of people are like, "Oh my god," like that's like a you got to get the cross out with that shit, like it's evil. But there was something about parents coming in. I mean, when the swarm comes in the beginning, and everyone's flipping out and wanting to know where things are, and half the time you don't know where any of the shit is, and they're yelling at you and screaming, and people are fighting and everything. I mean, yeah, that stuff sucks. But when you got parents that come in and they have their kids' Christmas list and they're looking for you to help them pick out their kids' toys, like, to me, that was kind of fun. That kind of made it special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when I worked at Sports Authority, that was like my biggest retail experience, like, or I guess like a Dick's Sporting Goods, and like all I did in those stores is like I maintained like the equipment. I built all the equipment like that were out on displays, and I got people's skis, snowboards, like tennis rackets, all that stuff. I was the guy in the back. Like, so I didn't have much interaction with people until Black Friday. Like, Black Friday is when they pulled me out of my cave and stuck me out on the floor and like just made me deal with people, and like that, I think like that is the worst experience, especially when you're not used to dealing with people on a regular basis. So like, yeah, that was like a really rough experience. The only benefits were working on that day were like we got our discount, like it was like cost, like whatever like they bought it for is what we got it for. So a lot of people usually got like sports related gifts from me, but now that I'm not in retail anymore and I don't have to count how many times I hear All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey, which was 73 times, I think.
Oh, don't remind me of the music. I don't want to think about that. I used to actually have nightmares about that stuff for real.
Yeah, I know. I think I calculated one year. I think there was a playlist in an 8-hour window. I think between the beginning of the holiday season to Christmas, you heard that song 290 times on your shift.
Oh, that makes me
so
nauseous.
Yeah, it was just brutal like during that time. But now that I'm out of it, and it's like, you know, I have my son and we have our house and I can throw up my decorations. It's amazing. But every year it's like house warfare with the cats because they just try to mess that tree up.
Yeah, see, I just got a new kitten too, so I'm a little concerned about that myself. But
yeah,
just like Zach said about the wires, just be careful.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But speaking of Black Friday, let's get right into our industry buzz section because we're actually going to dedicate a nice little chunk of time here to Black Friday. And then we're going to talk about something else here when we're done as well. But it's that time of the year again, obviously. So stores are going to be opening early to interfere with your Thanksgiving meal with your family, people trampling over one another for a cheap off-brand TV, police pepper spraying soccer moms for fighting over the last Hatchimal. You know how it goes. Retail employees praying to be put out of their misery. Other than me, I kind of like the working Black Friday. Why? I don't know. I guess I'm a glutton for pain. I don't know.
Why?
Yeah. Yes, Black Friday is almost here. And to celebrate, we're going to go over our personal guides to Black Friday gaming and what titles we think you should be looking out for when you're braving the crowds this year. Now, this is actually next Thursday, so we're getting very, very close. So first off, I want to ask you guys, do you like Black Friday? Do you guys go out and shop in this stuff? Or are you just stay at home, have nothing to do with it kind of people?
I personally, like I did it, I want to say long time ago, probably like 12 years ago. Like I went out and did like the whole Midnight Madness thing, and it was just brutal. Like I've never been so sick the next day. Like I don't know what hit me when I was out there, but like I just got racked with like the worst flu, migraine, cold, like conglomerate of viruses. So now I'm just like, it's not worth it. Like I hated the people, I hated the attitude. It defeats what the season is about. You know, it kind of taints it, and I like the purity of it. So, you know, it's about giving those gifts that you like scour and find that are perfect for those people that you have in mind. So I have a tendency to kind of start my shopping in October. That way I have plenty of time to find like the right gift for the right people. And then, you know, in Christmas time comes, I'm excited to give out the gift. So.
And you aren't as stressed too because you did all your shopping incrementally, unlike I usually do, which is all in one lump sum of just stress and sadness. Like
that's what I do too. I just get that one big paycheck where I don't have as many bills coming out, and I just get all of it with that one paycheck.
Yeah, that's like my Christmas paycheck. So I mean, I'm over here like straight up bordering on agoraphobia. So like you best believe I'm not the type of person to fuck with Black Friday in stores. Like now, like Cyber Monday, like Black Friday online, you best believe I'm there. I'm like, I'll be there no matter what. But I'll basically, this year I plan on shopping through my work day, essentially. Like my boss is working from home and like I'm just gonna be online. It's gonna be great. So I have some personal survivor tips, like, but they're all survival tips, but they're all based around like my checking account and the survival of my checking account. So like what I'll do first is I'll make a list of people to buy for. And then I'll take a mental note of how much I'm willing to spend on their gift, because between my frugality and my shame, I'll never actually write it down on paper. I'll never write down like how much I'll spend on somebody, because it's like, I don't want to record their monetary worth. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'll spend $200 on dad this year. You know, like, no, I'm not going to do that. So
I'm worth more.
You're priceless, boo. You're priceless. Yeah,
that's right.
Too much money. So after that, I'll basically jot down stuff I think they'd like. And then I take that piece of paper and I throw it in the garbage, because what's going to happen is I know I'm going to find stuff on sale that I have no idea they'll like, but the price will be so good I just can't pass it up. So when I finally give them their gift and they open it and they look at me like, why did you buy me this? I'll tell them I did it for the sale, and I'll just shrug real proud, you know? So and then if I really want to destroy the friendship, I can make them guess how much I paid for it. And then they'll never want to be friends with me again, and I won't have to do it again next year. So we're set.
Wow.
I know this is a video game podcast and we typically talk about electronics, but this is like a very dangerous time for me to go into like Lowe's or Home Depot, because they've already started putting their stuff out there that's like, hey, you want this, don't you? Like, you need like a wet dry vac, don't you? Like, you definitely need one of those. And I'm just like, oh, dude, I totally want a wet dry vac for my house.
Right. And then like Osh is going out of sale, right? Or some are out of business or something like that. So it's all getting like, just take it all. Take it. Yeah, man. I got to avoid certain things. And I think the internet's where I'm going to be.
Yeah,
you know,
dude,
the internet's bad for me, man. It really is. It gets easier every year, but I can proudly say, at least I'm proud to say this, I've never done Black Friday. I never intend to. I've heard too many horror stories, and just like Shannon said, it really compromises the integrity of the holiday for me. Like, I do put Christmas and Thanksgiving up on a pedestal where I try to believe that people are better than they actually are, and then seeing that they're not in reality is like, I don't want to see this. Like, I've worked the fast food industry during Black Friday. I've worked at a Safeway during Black Friday, and I've worked, fortunately, retail that didn't honor Black Friday on Black Friday. So I've never been like in the midst of Target, you know, like during Black Friday, but it really does bring out the worst in people sometimes. Like, I want to be Josh and have those positive stories, but I don't, man. Like, people are just all about themselves, and like, I don't know.
For me, like, I worked Black Friday, I think, for 5 years. And normally I was the one that had to open in electronics.
Wow.
Like, I'd have to be in electronics. Now, given I have done closing Black Friday shifts, and those to me are far worse, because people will literally fucking destroy that store, and it is up to you to clean it up. And there were times where the store would close at like 10, 11 o'clock, and we would be there till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning still trying to put that store back together. Yeah, it's bad. So to me, I would rather be there and open and be there in the fray, you know, than cleaning up all that shit later. But I can give you guys
I'm sorry to interrupt. How did Target's, like, I think back in the day, when I think of Target, I think their Black Fridays aren't as good as others. So were you guys as busy as other stores, or maybe not quite as much? Or so you were offering stuff as well, like good as like a Walmart?
I think they're not as good as they used to be. I do agree with you there. I think when I worked there, their Black Friday deals were much better. I will tell you that around, because they usually open and they stay open for like around the clock. So they'll open up, you know, at like 6 o'clock in the evening, you know, on Thanksgiving, and then they will stay open all night long up through the next day, and they'll never close. I think they stopped doing that because we had staff that were literally sitting around not doing anything. I usually around midnight, I would say, like, it just stops. Like, the store will be completely empty. People will go away, and then they won't come back until the next morning. So you would get that big rush for the first couple hours, 2 or 3 hours. Then after that, it would slow down quite a bit, and it would stay steadily busy throughout the next day on through the weekend. But it would never be that, oh my God, people running through the doors, except for like the first couple hours. And that was it.
Now, for those doorbusters, did you guys give, because it's always dependent upon the store and how well they handle it. If they don't give out like numbers, if they just have you get in a line, and then all of a sudden, like, I've gone to a couple Fry's ones back in the day in my late 20s, and I'll never do that again, because we would line up against a wall, and then all of a sudden, as they open the doors, people would crush in, and we'd been there for hours, and people would get in who just got there, and then it became a big fight. If they don't hand out numbers right there, strike one. I mean, it's just that's not done correctly, and it's going to set things up for things to get ugly, and people could possibly get hurt. So did you guys do that? Did you give out numbers, or did you just kind of let it, like,
every store, it's up to them to do their own thing. There's nothing that's set by corporate, at least from when I was there at Target. Like, it's up to the main store manager to decide how they want to handle that. Yeah, we usually gave out vouchers for the high priced like for the high ticket items. Like, if they were game consoles, if they were TVs, anything like that, we would hand out tickets. And the only way if you could get one if you didn't have a ticket is if someone didn't grab it and it was like able to be, you know, put back on the shelf later on in the day, or someone gave you their ticket, and that was pretty much it.
Gotcha.
And we always had security there, and we always had police there as well. But I remember Target would have to pay for the police department to be there, for a cop to be there. Like, they're not just going to send one on their own free goodwill. They're going. You have to pay for that. And I remember one year they didn't pay the police officer from the previous year, so the cops didn't show up to help. So it was just Target security, their security people, and that was it, which is like 2 people, and one of them was a lady that was smaller than me. So yeah, good luck her stopping a horde of people, you know. So yeah, it's just a crapshoot. Every store does it differently, and I don't think corporate ever dictates, you know. But I mean, I can give you guys some tips from my knowledge of working retail back in the day of how to handle this. First and foremost, you don't want to show up at the doorbuster stuff. Right. Now, most of that stuff they have for doorbusters, unless it's something you absolutely must have, most of that stuff is still there hours later.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if it's like a TV that's like super cheap, that's like $200 or something for like a 60-inch TV or some crap, you guys don't want that shit. I'm telling you, because all those TVs are models that they got in specifically for Black Friday that they don't sell year round, and all those TVs are usually lesser quality. Most of them that we sold would come back in returns because they were broken or they didn't work right. Almost every single time, I kid you not. Now, if it's a big name one, like a Samsung or something like that, you're usually pretty safe, but you're not going to see TVs like that dirt cheap. It's usually like Westinghouse and Element and crap brands. You know, you're not going to get a big name brand TV for super, super cheap. And even though they tell you that they're 4K and have HDR and stuff, I'm telling you that they're not good TVs. And most of them come back broke. So they're not worth standing in line for hours in the freezing cold and rushing through people to try to get, because you're going to get a mediocre TV, and they're just not good. It's not something they sell year round. Now, of course, they have stuff like toasters and all that dumb shit for your house, you know, that they sell dirt cheap that you might want. But most of the video games are always there several hours later. You can waltz into a Target or a Best Buy at midnight if they're still open, and most of those games they will still have. And you are not going to fight the crowds like you would when the doors first open. The same with Blu-ray movies and stuff like that. If you want Blu-ray movies, most of the time they have plenty of them left over. A lot of the doorbuster stuff that I wanted at Walmart last year, I walked in the next day in the afternoon and they still had. So, and I'm not going to tell you not to go when they open, because if it's something you really want, I don't want to be the reason why you don't get it. But at the same time, just from my experience, like most of that stuff is there hours later. It's only the stuff that's like crazy cheap, like TVs and stuff like that, or like a Keurig machine for $20 or something that they're going to sell like that.
Those are going to break anyway.
Yeah. The funny thing is we've had a Keurig for like 5 or 6 years, like one of those 1-cup ones, and that thing's still rocking strong. But everyone I know that has Keurigs, they all break down.
They all break. The one in my office is broken too. It's shorted out. Like I can't even recommend you buy Keurigs. They're also really bad for the environment. So just try to make your coffee at home. It tastes better.
Yeah. And I actually think that leading up till Christmas, you usually get sales at big stores like Target and Best Buy and stuff that usually rival the stuff that's on sale for Black Friday. Sometimes I would get better deals like a week before Christmas than I would Black Friday itself. So sometimes it pays to wait.
Well, stores are doing more and more pre-Black Friday stuff. I've seen TVs on sale. Fry's has had some really cheap sale, like really good quality TVs, really cheap, cheaper than they've been all year. And I doubt they'll get cheaper on Black Friday. So they're trying to introduce some stuff beforehand, but it's a crapshoot. It's like, okay, I'm going to take a chance. Maybe I'll get it cheaper. And another thing about sitting outside, and I mean, if you're going to spend an hour, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to save even $80-100, is that really worth the time and effort that goes into it? And the where you could end up getting in a fight or just anything, it just doesn't seem worth it for what you're saving. Maybe that's just my
sometimes people have more time than they have money. That's one thing, especially as like a younger person. I have more time than I have money, so I might be able to sacrifice those couple of hours to sit outside because I need to save that $80. But like, I do have one question. Dad, you're not going to buy another TV, are you? Are you?
Dude.
I almost bought an 82-inch. They had a Samsung 82-inch that has very low input lag. I think it's the NU8000.
So I'm just gonna throw this out here, you guys. I'll just get a little ahead of myself. My dad actually gave me a TV a couple weeks ago as a hand-me-down. So hearing that he's gonna buy another TV potentially is like, y'all, I'm running out of TV space in my house right now. Like I can't get any more hand-me-downs.
Your bedroom's gonna look like an NSA like fucking office or something.
I have what do I have? I have 4 65-inches, so I have one in each room. But I really need an 82-inch in the living room. He
really needs it, you guys. He really needs that.
Really needed. But I'm gonna wait. I almost pulled the trigger. I found an 82-inch for $2,000 at Fry's. I almost did it, and it was a high-end one too. A Samsung M8000 and really low input lag, good for gaming. But I just finally said no, enough's enough for now. So maybe early next year.
Meanwhile, Shannon's over here shaking his head like, nah, son.
I'm just trying to think, like, where would you even put an 82-inch TV? Like, I don't have the room on any wall in my house.
I have a 55-inch, and that is perfectly fine for me.
Yeah.
No. Well, I used to think that. I started with a 50-inch plasma, I think, and then I'm like, wow, 55 might be too big. And my house isn't big. I only live in 1,300 square feet. But, I'm sitting about 8 feet away from my living room. And then I was like, 58-inch, that's going to be just fine. Then it went to 65. And I'm like, there's plenty of room in this one corner where I can keep going bigger, So
at one point he had 2 TVs set up. He had 2 TVs side by side in the living room set up, and they were huge, man. They were like bigger than my nephew. And I'm just sitting here like,
to watch stuff while I play games. So
and he did. He watched television and movies while he played video games. Like he would be playing Gears of War. Dude, it was the ballerest shit. It was so funny.
So there's I know there are stores called video onlys out here. I don't know if you have them on the East Coast, Josh, but
never heard of it.
I've never heard of it.
There's one in Hayward here, and they will take your old TVs like trade in, like GameStop style, but the trade in value is better. So if you have some TVs that you do not want, go to Video Only in Hayward, and they will give you like $500, $600, $700 for your TV.
Yeah,
Taking notes.
That might work because I bought some that were decent, but now they're like 4K has come down so much in the last 6 months. It's unbelievable. Which you can get even like a 75-inch for around $1,000. It's lower end, but still, it just that boggles the mind with what they were at.
Just give it like 6 more months. I bet you they'll be down to like the price of like a regular TV.
I hate that people who bought 4K TVs before HDR was a thing.
Yeah,
what they have to deal with.
Yeah,
because I think that's what happened to Zach. I think he bought a 4K TV before HDR was like a big deal, and now I don't think he has HDR unless he got another TV since. But I mean, I didn't buy a 4K TV until I knew HDR was like, and then they were selling TVs with fake HDR that weren't real, and all that stuff. Like, man, TVs are so complicated to buy right now.
No, there's a box that you can get for the early 4K TVs that give the HDR like functionality. You just have it's like an inline like box with your HDMI cables. So
yeah, but it's not the same. It's market talk.
It's not.
It's I mean, not that it's not. It's fine. But when even in my house, I have my OLED in my bedroom. I'm staring at it right now, and it's so much more beautiful than the other 4K. So and those have HDR too. So there really is a difference. You don't think the eye can perceive it, but if you sit close enough, it really will. So, but yeah, that's just me.
I didn't really see what the big deal was with HDR until something that we'll talk about here in a minute. But anyways, what are you guys chasing this year? Like, what do you want for Black Friday? Like, what are you looking at?
Tetris Effect. I want it on sale. Like,
40's a little steep.
Hey, shut your mouth. I'm trying to save money wherever I can, man. I want it to come down to 35, and then I'll buy it.
You'll really pay 35? Wow.
No, I won't. I've heard so many good things about this game, but I really do want to buy it on sale. I really think that'll help me take the plunge. Like, and then I saw Xenoblade for 35, and hearing how much Shannon enjoyed it, I was like,
toy with my emotions. If you are gonna buy that game, you better commit to playing it. Otherwise, I'm going to get my hopes up. And
you better promise me, and we better become best friends. And I swear, Elena, if you don't,
wait, are you talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
For the Switch, right?
Lane, I have it.
This is my life, you guys. Just so you know, this is my life. Like, this is how this goes down. Like,
your dad is like your own personal video game rental store.
Yeah,
I just call him Mr. Gamefly now. I'm just like, what's up, Mr.
Unless
Gamefly?
It's Pokemon, I pretty much have it.
Yeah, and then I just buy that stuff day one. We all know I'll be there for Pokemon day one. Like, what about you, Dad? What are you looking forward to? What are you gonna buy that you already haven't, that you haven't already gotten?
Other than an unnecessary TV.
Oh, I know. And I'm actually the funniest place I'm going to go to is probably Kohl's, and I'll tell you why. I want to get the PlayStation VR. I've been putting it off for a while, but I really want to play Resident Evil. Yeah, here's why. Everyone has it for $199.99 for without the move sticks. But Kohl's does this thing for every $50 you spend, they give you $15 back in Kohl's cash. Now you only have like maybe a month to spend that, but that I can with Terry and my girlfriend, I could spend that easy. So really, I'm knocking another $60 off of it. I'm going to get it for $139 plus tax. So that's where I think I'm going to get at that. And I'm looking at a few odds and ends. I'll probably get, and Shannon will like this, the Dragon Age game. I found it for $30 because I didn't want to pay full price for it. I'll probably get that at some point because I got to have them all. Video games are like Pokemon to me. Even if I don't play them, I gotta have them all.
TVs too, apparently. Jesus Christ.
I'm the same way, man. If a game comes out and I'm remotely interested in it, like I buy it.
Yeah, we're very similar in that regard. I notice games you buy, and I'm like, yep, he's just like me.
Yep.
This one's 4K at you, and this one's HDMI-a-sore, and this one's.
Yeah.
Then I'll buy it. I'll buy it then.
What about you, Shannon?
Those are, I think,
man, I don't know. Work related stuff. I mean, like I said, like there's this German company called WIA, and they make
I've heard about this.
They make ohm resistant, or like they make like screwdrivers and other tools that are electrically like they have like a 10,000 ohm resistant like coating on them. And since I work around a lot of high electricity, I'm hoping that some of their screwdrivers and like tool sets go on sale, because like I think like a 20-piece tool set from them is like $1,000. So so I would like to see that come down in price. But as far as video games are concerned, some of these Black Friday deals that like Target and Walmart and Best Buy have definitely have some things on my have perked up my radar. I don't know if you want to start going into that right now, Josh, but
let's do it. I mean, other than me, like I'm kind of in the market for a laptop. I have been for a while.
Dude, I am too, but like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to jump on it right now, but I've seen some pretty good. I know Best Buy's got a Surface Pro 6. It's the like $1,200 one, and they're selling it for $999, and it comes with the keyboard. So you don't have to pay for that extra. So it's like you're getting a $1,200 Surface Pro with the $150 keyboard for the price of like the crappy Surface Pro. So, but I don't know if I want to go that fancy. But
that's not like a gaming laptop. That's more for work or
exactly. Well, that's what I would use it for. I wouldn't play games on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like gaming laptops because they're too fat. Like they're just big, thick, fat laptops, and I don't like that.
Comically
I like them
big,
I like the nice thin
old. They've gotten thin.
They definitely do. Yeah, but they're like $3,000 or something. Like it's crazy.
At that point, just buy a PC. Like you're not going to be playing. You're not going to be playing Overwatch on the go. Like come on, like.
Yeah.
At least I don't think so.
I definitely want like a thin Ultrabook, and I really wanted one of the new MacBooks, but with the price hike on the Air, like that to me, it's not worth it anymore. So I'm not going that route. So we'll see. But for games for me, so yeah, let's go ahead and jump into games. So I know that Best Buy, to me, Best Buy has the best deals this year.
For games, in my opinion.
Games. Yeah. They have Dragon Quest for $30, which I'm going to jump on that.
I'll be picking that up. Yep.
So I'll hop in that with Shannon at some point. And then I'll probably get Soul Calibur because that's on sale for $35. I haven't grabbed that yet. And then there was one more that I was wanting to grab too, but I forgot what it was. It's shit. I don't know. What about you guys? It'll probably come to me.
So for me and Best Buy, I actually wanted to talk to you guys because I've been looking to get into the Monster Hunter series, and I noticed Best Buy is offering not only Monster Hunter World for $20, but Monster Hunter Generations for the Switch for $35. And I have no idea which one to buy. So if any of you out there have any like advice or recommendations, I mean, I'm obviously going to look online and shop reviews and stuff, but I think I'm going to buy.
Let me jump in since I spawned you. You're not going to like Monster Hunter. I have it on PS4.
He also tells me what I like and don't like, but he's usually right. Yeah, usually, yeah.
You're more than happy to check it out. Maybe test it out first on the PS4, try it, and then maybe you'll want to go to Generations to have that portability. Although I don't know if it's that much. I don't know if that's really a great portable game like certain other ones that would be better. So I don't think that'd be a great game for you, but you're more than happy to take mine and try it out?
Okay, never mind, guys. I'm not buying anything for Black Friday. It's settled. It's squared away.
If I was gonna go with one of those, I would go with World. To me, that one's much better. Like I've played
$20.
Yeah, that one's significantly better if you ask me, especially for the price. Like if you're going to go for it, like, and that's a damn good deal for that game.
Yeah, a lot of content.
Okay. Yeah, I also saw Detroit Become Human for 20. I was thinking about buying that as well. Yep. I mean, after I heard I don't know how, we did an episode about Detroit Become Human.
I've only been telling you could borrow it from me for like free, but like,
that's a good point. But then
it's fine.
Then I'd have to leave my house and we'd have to
that was one of the few I didn't buy. I rented it from GameFly because it was one of those. There are certain games that they're kind of on the shorter side, or I don't think I'm going to replay them a bunch. Yeah. I will just rent them from GameFly. So, that one I played, it was fun. I think it's worth $20.
Yeah,
for sure.
which is funny because like that game has so many possibilities and different directions of what you can choose and where it goes. Sure. Like, I definitely think the replayability on that one is high. I mean, like as far as things on this list, like on this blueprint or whatever you want to call it, that I didn't see anything that I personally wanted to buy. Because it was a great deal. I'm typically broke around this time of year, so I got to be a little bit frugal. But to tell, just as far as like our listeners are concerned, like Mario and plus Rabbids, if you haven't gotten on that one, it's $20 now.
20, yeah.
That's the way to go. Detroit Become Human is definitely on my list of things to buy. Far Cry 5 would be the only game I would probably be tempted to pick up because I didn't get it at its initial release.
Prices are good too.
Yeah.
I'm actually considering Rocket League for the Switch because like the Ultimate Edition's $20 and that might be fun to dick around with on the Switch here and there. So
I didn't even know it had a Switch version. Wow.
Yeah, it just came out this year, right? Like a couple months ago.
I think it came out earlier this year.
Oh, really? I have about 400 hours in the Rocket League.
Oh my god!
I own that game on every platform.
I thought
really that beats your Xenoblade hours. That's wow, Dad, you have no life.
Oh man, no. Me and Robert played that constantly. You know that. That's a great co-op game
for life. High five.
But yeah, I also that would be fun on. No, just to follow up on I think that would be fun on the Switch. I haven't because I have it on PC. And the PS4, but I could see that being fun on the Switch, especially if it's with all the content that comes with it for $20. That's a fair price.
Yeah. So I think I might do that too. We'll see.
I saw $40 for a year at PlayStation Plus. That's about what I'm willing to.
Yeah, mine's been out for about 6 months now.
Mine's been out for about a year and a half, and I just don't want to. I don't want to do it, man. Like there's so many. I poo. Oh, that reminds me, Robbie. I forgot. I got some thoughts for Robbie on that last episode. My bro. Like he was shitting on me for shitting on PlayStation for being salty about Sony. But I just want to say, Robbie, man, I love Sony. There's a reason why I don't own an Xbox and like why I keep going to Sony, but like it's just been a lot of stuff adding up, and I'll just leave it at that for now. We'll take it to the comments section, bro. It's cool. You'll be back, and we'll have some words.
That's also while we're on the topic of like raging on Robbie. So like last week, like we were getting into it about on Spider-Man with that ending and stuff like that, and it occurred to me that he was wearing a Batman T-shirt and a Flash hat. And he's got the audacity to talk to me about Marvel. Come on, son. If you're going to come to me with Spider-Man and talk to me about that stuff, at least get your allegiance.
Robbie's a pretty big DC fan.
But I know he's both. I know he's like a big comic book guy in general. But I just thought it was really funny. Not talking smack or anything. Just saying.
All I think about is Deadpool 2 when I hear that kind of that whole line.
That kind of banter. Yeah.
That whole line he used where you're so dark.
I don't mean to get somber, but can we all have just like a moment of silence? Rest in peace, Stanley.
Oh yeah.
All right, rest in peace. Good job, Dad. Rest in peace, Stanley.
You ruined it, Bomb.
That guy. That was silent enough. That's about as silent. That's about as silent as it's gonna get.
The way you said Stanley, you ran it all together, and I'm like, who's Stanley?
Who's
and then
Stanley?
I'm like, yeah, Stan Lee. But
OG Stanley. OG Stanley.
I heard Stanley and I was waiting for a last name and I'm like, what? Right. Oh yeah, that guy.
Stanley, right. Kyle, Kenny, Cartman, who's what now? What's going on? Yeah, rest in peace, man. Like you were a fucking hero.
That's a huge bummer. Man. He seemed like a good dude too, man.
Yeah.
Just how he would always fight like racism, like back in the 60s and 70s with his comic books and shit.
Through his comics. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like my friend, I told told you guys like about this. I think back in like April or May, back when we first started out. But my friend proposed to his fiance or his girlfriend at the time, right in front of Stanley, and like he's taken it so hard, man. Like he lost a best friend. I know so many people in the community who are reacting like they just lost like a very close friend, and that says a lot about him as a person. So it's sad, man. It's a sad, somber thing.
Good dude, man. Good dude.
Right?
So we all in agreement here that Best Buy is probably the place to go this year for Black Friday.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things like if you're looking for a bundle, I would like a Switch bundle. I noticed Mario Kart, Target had it for $300. I think Walmart had it as well.
I think everyone does actually.
Does Best Buy have it as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
all
like their official bundle this year, and you can get one of the 2DSs with the Mario Maker,
Super Mario Maker for
80. Yeah, so
that's a good gift for your kids, yo. That's a good gift.
Now
that version sucks on the Switch. I mean, on the 3DS though, it's much better on the Wii U. Sorry, Shannon, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I was just gonna ask that PlayStation bundle with the Spider-Man game, that Spider-Man bundle. Is that the PlayStation 4 Pro or is that just
it's a Slim, right?
It's a Slim.
Yeah, it's 190. It's only a terabyte too, and man, that fills up way faster than you think it would. Like I've had to delete.
Man, if you don't have a PS4 right now, like that's a killer deal for $200 for Spider-Man.
Just to hold you over until next gen, like because it's coming, man.
I really don't think people need a Pro, to be honest with you. Like I own one, and I own an Xbox One X, and I think the Xbox One X is like a definitely huge leap forward, but the Pro really isn't. It's just like a little leap forward. It's just a little one. So I don't know. Do you have both of those, Bomb?
Yeah.
Do you agree with me, or do you think the PS4 Pro is actually a big?
No, boost? I do agree with you. The PS4 Pro is very minute over. I mean, it's cool if you got 4K and it's a nice little bump, but it's not. Well, the thing is that if you look at the original hardware, the PS4 was a little better than the Xbox. But then when they each did their incrementally better piece of hardware, the Xbox went way higher and the PS4 only went a little higher. So the Xbox One X blows everything out of the water. That's why I started buying. I used to buy everything on the PS4 if it was cross-platform. Now I buy just about everything on the Xbox because of that bump.
I do the same. Actually, I bought Spyro today for PlayStation 4 though, just because it didn't feel right playing that on an Xbox to me.
Right, it's cheating, man.
It's like sacrilege or something.
Yeah, that's the ultimate no.
Yeah. So.
Oh gosh. I do want to say that in my opinion for portable games, not necessarily Switch, but 3DS, I would heavily recommend Walmart. The ads I saw were pretty good for 3DS games, talking $17 games for a lot of classics. So if you're looking to get like some 3DS games in your life, I would shop around on Walmart.
Didn't they have Animal Crossing cheap?
Yeah. Dirt cheap, like $17 for games like that. That's too good to pass up.
Yeah, I think the Zeldas were on there too. Those are definitely must-haves.
Yeah.
Do people still play the 3DS if they have a Switch?
I don't.
No.
We've talked about that. I don't either.
I turned my 3DS on for the first time to play Luigi's Mansion, and then it went right back into collecting.
Yeah.
I couldn't even finish that really good Metroid game they made for it last year because the whole time I'm like, fuck, I want to play this on the Switch. I want to play it on this.
That's kind of where I'm at this point too. So, but I know a lot of like little kids who are still playing their 3DSs. So if you're looking to do a little bit of cheapy stuff, controllers basically are $40 everywhere, Xbox and PlayStation. So now's the time if you want to do that.
Yeah, they have some really cool PlayStation colors now.
The designs, man.
That like Robin Egg blue one that they just released is kind of cool.
Yeah, those colors that they're coming out with are way too late in the game, in my opinion, but I'm very happy about them. They're cool looking.
So what about any underrated games that a lot of people may have looked past this year that if they're shopping around on Black Friday, they might want to look out for? Like, is there any games like that you guys think people should grab this year?
So I have a...
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I have some. So I don't know if I've necessarily seen sales on them, but make sure to look around if you have. The first one for me is kind of sad. It's from Codemasters, who they know how to make race car games, called Onrush. I think it was free on Xbox for one of the months, but
yeah, it's on Game Pass right now too.
Okay, so obviously Forza 4 kind of threw a wrench in that, but I played it a lot before Forza 4 came out. And if you don't have Forza 4, if you're not into that and you're into Codemaster stuff, because they make some good race car games, the thing I like about this game is it's more about the crashing, and it's team based, and what was that game back in the day? Blur, I think we used to play. A bunch of the guys on Rotten Tomatoes all played that together. It was about running into each other and crashing as opposed to necessarily finishing your race in first.
Yeah.
So it's team-based objectives, and the crashes are kind of like the Burnout series, although they're not quite as good. So I think Onrush, if you're into race car games, is definitely was underrated. And Codemasters, a lot of people got laid off after that game, unfortunately, just because no one bought it. It's very underrated.
Dang.
Another one for me is Kingdom Come Deliverance. Great.
I forgot that game even existed.
ultra realistic RPG. Set in the 1600s. You got to eat to stay alive. You got to, yeah. I mean, it's just, I love the quests, the writing, the characters. I've only gotten about halfway through it just because even with me playing as much as I do, I play so many other things that I haven't been able to finish it. But I highly recommend that game. I bought it used when I rented it off GameFly and liked it so much I just bought it and kept it and got it for like $22 or something. But if you can find that on the cheap, it's to me it's worth $40 easy. And then I don't know if this one is necessarily considered underrated, but I don't know if a lot of people talk about it. A Way Out from I think EA did it.
Yeah,
I think it's the best split screen co-op couch game of the year. I played it with my girlfriend, and she loves video games, but I mean, we don't play a lot of games together because she's just not that good, and she knows it. But we had fun playing that. We played it in 2 settings, and the story was great. It was so fun, worth a playthrough at least once. And then Attack on Titan 2 and Vampire, however it's pronounced. I think those are fun rentals. Vampire
Attack on Titan?
Attack on Titan 2 is fun. I rented it. It's a fun rental. Yeah. It's well done.
I still haven't played Vampire yet, and I should, or Vampire, whatever you want to call it. I haven't checked that out yet. I'm waiting for that to hit like $20.
I think it's worth $20. The story's great. They're actually, I think, making a movie on it. I thought I heard something. They were going to option it for a movie or a TV series or something.
Yeah.
The combat really, really brought it down, though. That's what I mean. It was like if the combat would have been even decent on it, I think it would have been a really, really solid game. But if you could get past that, the story, the backgrounds, the 1800s London, the whole thing, it's really, really done well. It's just the combat. I just wonder about games like that. They got to have testers going through it, and someone's got to be like, wow, this is great, except when I engage somebody, which is 50% of the game. So
yeah, where were those guys at for Red Dead?
Yeah.
Hey, bro, this game looks great, but it's not very fun to play. Just saying.
So that's all those 10s.
Yeah. Hey, guys over there in the cubicles. Yeah. Hey, cubicle guys, can you make this a little more fun for me?
That horse is already dead. Stop beating it. Please.
Can you?
We get it.
It's extra funny because you can ride some horses in that game.
Can you not focus on the horse's balls and make the game more fun?
Gosh darn it, man.
Yeah, well, that's a whole. Well, I will say I've had more fun with Kingdom Come Deliverance than I have with Red Dead Redemption so far. Not that I won't. I'm only like 6 hours in, but yeah, I get what you're saying. So those are the ones I think are kind of worth a look if you because after the first of the year, you're going to have that gaming lull a little bit, and there might be some time to get stuff in. Maybe you didn't get in 2018, so those would be the ones I'd recommend.
Yeah, definitely don't let Detroit Become Human pass you by. That's one of my favorite games this year. That will definitely find its way on my top 10 list. So if it's going for $20, I think people definitely need to grab that up. The reviews were very hit and miss when it came out, but I loved it to death. So grab that. If you guys see Yoku's Island Express cheap, like grab that as well. That game was really fun this year. And you should definitely get that. Dead Cells as well. They have a physical version of Dead Cells, and I think Elena has put more time into that game than any of us. And I'm sure she can attest that that's a great one to grab too. And one that I'm looking forward to, I can't comment on because I haven't played it, but apparently Celeste is amazing, and I have not played that yet. So I'm hoping that drops on sale at some point this holiday season, so I can grab that cheap and play it before we do our Game of the Year stuff.
Nice. Yeah. I would also say I'm interested in Garden Warfare 2, Plants and Zombies, Garden Warfare 2.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got 40 hours in that. It's a great game.
Yeah, it's like $12 right now at Walmart. So
yeah,
it's worth. Pick that
you can get it digitally for even less. I've seen it for $5.
Oh,
you can get the Game of the Year, which adds some content for like $8. So me and Logan, my grandson, play that all the time. Highly recommend it. I preferred the first one a little more, but still the second one is really, really fun. It's like, it's a really deep shooter for it being kids based, you know, like cartoony and whatnot. But it's so good. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going. I highly recommend that as well.
That's fine. Yeah. I mean, jump in because like I've always been on the fence with it, and like I just thought I didn't know if the community was big enough for like. To jump
there's
in
always
now.
Still though, you know? There's still a community.
No. I never miss. Yeah. Every time there's still a community for Garden 1. I can still hop on and play with people online on Garden 1. So yeah, there's definitely a community.
Is it mostly kids though? I feel like that's a game that would mostly attract like children. Like, not to be I feel the same when I play Splatoon. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like I'm playing with children. Like, I'm curious about the community.
It definitely will have a more, you know, you'll definitely hear some 8-year-olds play. But I've heard people playing with their parents. You could hear them both talking into the microphone like they didn't know what they were doing. So it's cute. Plus, it makes my kill-death ratio a lot sweeter. So,
that's how I feel in Splatoon, and then I get killed by an 8-year-old, and I'm like, I know you're 8. This sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I'm so bad at Splatoon. Every time I go online in that game, I just get the floor wiped with me.
Did you turn off
every time?
Did you turn off the because you can aim with the actual like switch itself? I turned that off, and I got a lot better. Like,
there's turn it off. Everyone says that you have to use the motion controls to be really good at that game, and I just can't. This don't click with me. I have to use analog sticks.
Same.
No, I use analog and I crush. But then again I cheat a little and I use the almost exclusively the roller. Not all the time, but when I want to make sure I finish in first, I bust out my roller.
You're the bass player of Splatoon Heroes. I hope you know that. You're like just in the background, like just keeping things going, like making making sure things are working. Because this game isn't Call of Duty, man. It's not about your KD ratio. It's about like getting that ground like painted.
Getting that paint.
Yeah,
that's what it's about, and that's what those things do. It paints like crazy.
I always use a roller as well. To me, it's the most fun.
It's a guilty pleasure, man. Like
I haven't played that game in ages.
It's so fun. It's so easy to pick up and just lose a couple hours. Like it's so beautiful too.
I have more fun dressing up my squid person than I do actually playing the game.
Really? Well, this is something about it. I'm kind of the same way with most games. Not with Splatoon though.
I like to make them look fresh, man. What can I say?
And they do, man. They look good.
They look fresh while I'm killing you. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
So to get away from Josh's dress-up corner, I think Target has Wolfenstein 2 for $15.
Yeah, I saw that.
Too.
Yeah.
So
that's fun.
And then Walmart has Dragon Ball Fighter Z for like $17 too. So like if you want like
I bought it for $30.
I know.
Is that out on the PlayStation?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm buying that.
It just dropped on the Switch also.
Oh no, which one?
Don't get the one on the Switch, dude.
Oh no?
No, I don't know. Just the overall like the fast paced like movement.
That's true.
Mixed with the graphics, mixed with like everything. I think you're gonna do yourself justice playing it on the PlayStation.
Okay. I don't want any frame drops, so
that's
just my personal
and even as someone who doesn't like Dragon Ball Z, like that is a hell of a fighting game.
Is it really? Oh yeah, dude, I'm going for it. I'm going for it.
If the button, like it's not super like move heavy. Like in the beginning, like the moves are pretty basic. Like you can get the hang of how to move the characters that you want to move and do their abilities, and you feel like a badass once you like get the buttons down. And then when you see people play it at like a higher level, like at like a professional level, you're just like, damn, dude, like this it seriously plays out like an episode. Like if you just watch somebody play it and they're seamlessly pulling off these combos, it feels like you're watching the anime like just unfold in front of you, and it's beautiful to watch. And like so it saddens me because I know I'll never be that good. But like, to watch
every fighter.
Well, you can play that game and mash buttons and make incredibly cool shit happen on screen.
Oh yeah.
That's the sign of a good fighting game, when you can do both. That really, I feel like it transcends. And you're absolutely right, Shannon. The one of the main things about this game was that it really did look like it was straight out of the fucking series. Like they really pulled that whole Naruto Shippuden fighting games. Like I don't care for Naruto as a series, but I've always been impressed with their fighting games, and I feel like Dragon Ball really hit that on the head. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buy it on PlayStation 2. I think that's a better idea.
Yeah,
it's so cheap.
I know, $17. I mean, Target has it for 25, and I was like, oh, that's a good price. And then I saw Walmart had it for 17. I was like, damn, son, I would buy it again. Like if I hadn't already, just.
I'm kind of tempted to buy it now because we got a copy on our old podcast, and I reviewed it, and that's where I played. So I didn't actually buy it, and I liked it quite a bit. Yeah, so I wouldn't mind a copy.
There's so many new characters too that I just see
all the cute ones. Like, the girl and shit. She's hella cute, man.
I like that.
Sorry, I'm always into the cutesy girl characters. I'm like, I want to be Android 18. Let's go.
She plays terribly though.
Like I bet she does.
I did not like playing as her at all.
Damn it.
Because I'm usually the same way. I want like the cute. Like whenever I play like Tekken and stuff, I always go for like the cutesy chicks.
Yeah, or the pandas.
Or the pandas. Yeah, they always look. I'm sorry. They always play. They usually play much better, but in that game, like she didn't work for me. So.
Damn it.
All right. Well. So that's our Black Friday stuff. Elena, did you have anything?
I got one more.
Okay.
I didn't go either.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm bogarting. Anyway. So the fractured butthole.
I'm sorry.
My fractured butthole. So that South Park game came out for $17 on the Switch too. So I'm probably gonna pick that up because
I love that game. It's great.
Yeah, I do too. It's very good.
I like Stick of Truth more, but that one's still really good.
I played Stick of Truth. It was way good, but there were so many moments where I was like, "Oh my god, you really went there, didn't you?" Like,
see, they do that in this one too, but it's not quite as funny to me this time around. Like, you got Jared from Subway making fucking hump motions on kids and stuff, and like it's not funny. They're not clever with it. It's just there for shock value. So I didn't think the game was as funny, but I still really enjoyed playing it. It was still very fun. It has a really cool battle system.
Yeah, they're good games, but if you can't get on board with the humor, then you're not going to like it.
But I thought Stick of Truth was hilarious. So
I did despite certain parts that I just couldn't get on board with, and I think it might be because I'm a woman. I'm not sure.
I love the part where you were playing as like the miniature version of yourself with the underpants gnomes, and like your parents were having sex in the background, and you're like dodging your dad's balls as they're like swinging around.
Never gets old.
Yeah, and the fighting the abortus fetus of Khloe Kardashian or whatever was pretty funny too.
Yeah, that was intense.
All right, Elena, do you have any games to recommend for people for Black Friday?
Dude, I've been climbing on top of this mountain so I could scream "buy Dead Cells" from it. Like I've been climbing. Now I can come back down, but no, Josh, you're right. Like this game actually came out in 2017, but when it got ported to Switch, that's when it really did it for me. It was obviously my first time playing it, but
it was early access in 2017, so technically it didn't come out till this year.
Oh, Game of the Year, done.
Well, I mean, totally. I mean,
shouldn't you beat the Game of the Year? I'm just wondering.
You shut your whore mouth.
So aren't you as far in that game as I am? I'm just throwing it out there.
I got all the power-ups, but I can't beat the final boss. And I think the thing with me, you guys, is I don't want to beat it. That's the lie I'm going to stick with because I can't beat it. But I will say it's one of the best Metroidvania games I've ever played. I keep coming back to it no matter what. And yes, it's because I haven't beaten it, but I can almost guarantee once I do beat it, I'll be back. There's just something so charming about it, and just I can't talk about it enough. Just visit the previous episodes. I ranted about it for weeks.
It's just fun to play.
So rewarding to play.
It's just super fun to play.
Oh my god, such a good fucking game. And then this isn't a forgotten game, but I feel like it was, last time around, and it could become a forgotten game this time around. This Soul Calibur 6, if you can buy it for cheap, I would recommend it if you're either new to the franchise or haven't played it in a good long time, because I have a friend who's a diehard fan, and I was able to watch it, and it one of the things for me personally was, despite how graphically impressive it was, it looked and felt a lot like 5. And obviously, if you haven't played 5, that won't hit you as hard. But if you can get this game for cheap, there's still a lot of charm to this game. And it's very beautiful. And you could tell they put a lot of hard work into it. So I wouldn't spend 60 on it after playing it or having, seen some people play it. But it's, it's a great series. And I feel like I'm hearing that they didn't get a lot of funding this time around. So that they were able to do this much with the game, is pretty impressive. So if you can find that for cheap,
Namco fighting games are my favorite. So I love Tekken and I love Soul Calibur. And Tekken 7 was pretty good, and I definitely recommend that if you haven't played the FEC at cheap. But Soul Calibur, I was waiting for a sale on that one, but I'll probably be grabbing that for Black Friday for sure.
Yeah, and then another classic, not a 2018 release, but Nier Automata's on PSM for $30, and it's a classic. And I haven't beaten it, and it's a fucking classic. Like,
it was on my game of the year list last year.
I love that game so much. It's so good. Like, another game I just kind of don't want to beat. Like,
so you haven't even beaten it once?
No, I mean I'm mostly done. But
because you got to beat that thing like 10 times to get like the full story, right?
Well, yeah, but you could say that about Detroit, you know. Like,
I guess I should open my copy then.
Yeah.
I have it. I'm sure I'll love it. I just have not gotten to it.
Yeah, I loved it to death. I mean, I know Zach didn't care for it because he thought the writing was hokey, and it is. But I don't know. The characters just worked for me, man. I just really enjoy the characters.
The way the robots are, like, don't hurt. It's just so good, man. And then I have one non-recommendation. Do not buy Kirby Star Allies. I don't care how cheap. I don't care if your child wants it. Do not buy it. Like,
I agree. That game sucks.
That game, and I love Kirby dearly. I love that.
So do I.
So much, but it was such a slap in the face to me, like, as a gamer. Like, it did not respect my time. Like,
here we go.
Segue.
All right. Speaking of, so let's go ahead and move on. So be safe out there for Black Friday. Don't get trampled. Okay.
And yeah, please be respectful to people working retail as well. Like, I did say that real quick because they're working their dick off. And if they seem a little stressed, it's probably because they're a little stressed. Just remember what they're doing and how much they're getting paid for it. And just remember to practice common courtesy, please. Like, for everybody, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Stay alive out there. Don't hit anyone. Don't get trampled. We need you alive to listen to this podcast. So please survive the night. So speaking of our good pal Stohan Jovic, he operates a podcast called EXP Cast. If you guys have not heard that, check that out. It's on iTunes and the whole shebang. He asked us something last week about our definition of games that don't add value to, or don't value our time. So I'm going to read what he actually said to us on our Facebook group. He said, listening to your guys' last episode, welcome back, Robbie. Oh, thanks for being there, Robbie. I was wondering if we could discuss what it means to have video games respect your time, something I heard a lot during the episode. I feel this perception could widely vary between different people, which you are absolutely right. But when you guys say this game doesn't respect my time, do you feel that it shoehorns in activities, quests, story beats that you hate doing, or making the game itself too much of a grind to do and complete like most RPGs? I feel like it's not a matter of the developers not respecting your time. Look at most multiplayer games. They make you do the same things over and over again just for points, and people love that shit. But merely crafting a living and breathing world with varied shit to do. Yes, I agree. It may become a grind sometimes, and that the nature of most games nowadays is to help create a long-lasting experience. I ain't disagreeing with you guys. So put your pitchforks down. We weren't getting out our pitchforks, man. There's no pitchforks.
It was a little fork. It was a little fork, my friend. Just a little pokey with.
You can criticize us all you want. It's fine. Just thought it'd be a good discussion. Yes, that is a great discussion. It sucks that Zach's not here because Zach complains about that the most, but I'm sure he can touch on this when he comes back next week. But and like you said, it definitely varies between people. Now, everyone on this podcast has a significant other or a spouse. Most of us have kids. Elena does not, obviously, but yeah, she's lucky over there. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, so when we all have careers and all that stuff, so yeah, obviously a 60-hour long game that's, you know, grindy and stuff is going to be hard for us to play because we want to play so many games because there's so much stuff coming out and we want to check them all out. And it's hard to beat these games when they're so long for us when we have limited time and we try to do this podcast and everything. So yeah, we understand that. But so Shannon, I'm going to throw this your way first, man. What is it that a game can do that you feel like it just absolutely does not respect your time? Like define that for Stohan for us.
So for me, like from the time I pick up a game to the time I put it down, I want some type of, I want to feel like I accomplished something in the game, like something that moved my story forward, like in my session. Now, you know, people, you know, on this podcast have gotten on me for like my Xenoblade Chronicles, like obsession. But
that boo.
Yeah. And like in that game, like I never felt like anything I was doing was not making progress. Like everything felt fun. The combat was great. Like even if I was grinding out like, you know, to get crystals, to get more summons, to get more of my blades. Like I had a clear goal, and like even at the end of the night, if I cashed in like all of, like if I, you know, did all my summons and I didn't get like a new blade, like at least I felt like I was doing something towards that progression. Like the biggest example I have in like Dragon Quest is like there are quests that you have to do where you have to get like certain people to be pepped at the same time. Now, you know, that is strictly luck. It's you know, depending on where, in some particular instances, where you put your characters on your team when you're battling, you know, and I would sit there for like 2 or 3 hours to do this like one quest that I needed to do, and sometimes I walked away not completing that quest. And to me, that is that to create a quest that's that either hard to accomplish or it takes that much time to actually complete. Like, to me, that feels insulting, like a little bit. Like, it's not.
Are they optional?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's optional.
Okay, because you're making me concerned there for a second. Like,
no,
should I rethink that purchase?
No. I mean, it's an optional like thing, but like to me, like when I play a game, like I want to get as much out of that game as possible. Like, especially now, like financially with the holidays and things, like I can't just like put down that game and play like a new shiny bauble. Like that's not on the cards right now. So like this game's got to do it for me. So like I'm going to make sure that I scour like all over the place and do what I can when I'm in each area. And for the most part, the combat's fun. Like everything is great, except there are a couple of these quests that just like slow and grind that pace down to a halt. And that's kind of, you know, where I'm saying it, like I don't feel my time is respected enough in those areas. Like you have other games like Assassin's Creed where like, you know, they add this EXP booster for people who don't have a lot of time, where you can actually just like, you know, speed up your leveling process so you can get to the end of the game faster. Like, you know, if people, you know, financially can't give you that extra $10 like right away, you know, I kind of feel that that's kind of like not respecting your time. It's like, well, you can either give us more money and you can do it faster, or you could just kind of like grind it out. And like, to me, that's kind of like it's kind of a detractor. It kind of feels like a scuzzy tactic in my mind to you know, to as a workaround. Like that's basically saying, yeah, we're gonna make you grind like to get there. Like we're gonna make you put in like 60, 70 hours, and it might not be fun in some of those areas. You know, to me, that's kind of like that's what I mean by it doesn't respect my time. It's kind of just boring crap that, you know, just makes you kind of it detracts from the game. Like it takes you out of the game. It's obviously something that they're doing to pad the game, to make it a little bit longer or to make things a little bit more challenging. And there are other ways to make it more challenging. Give me like an Omega weapon like you did in like the early Final Fantasy games, or like, you know, something like that. Just give me a hard boss to fight. Just don't make me do like, you know, wait for 2 people to be in sync to get something, to get that bubble I want.
Okay. What about you, Elena?
Well, I didn't even think about it until he mentioned it, but the whole microtransactions, especially in AAA games, like the whole Assassin's Creed and having to pay for an EXP boost, like you should just make it so that I can level up at an appropriate rate. Like you shouldn't have to make, and I understand, and I actually am for the idea of like, oh, you want to make this, you know, 80-hour game and no 40-hour game, here are some options. But it does feel a little bit underhanded when, you know, the EXP, the way you gain experience points in the game is kind of broken to begin with. It just feels malicious, you know? I could totally get on board with that.
Now that you mention that, you know what game that does that and does it right?
What?
Pokemon. With XP share.
Oh yeah, but that game's not asking for any type of microtransaction. I'm talking like if we could find a happy medium. Like,
I'm talking about a game that gives you that option for free, because you can use experience share and that will speed the game up, and because just leveling up all your Pokemon, no matter if they fight or not, you know, or you can turn that off, and you can grind them all if you want. You know what I mean?
Think about that ever. I've been playing Pokemon for years, and okay, I'm gonna get candid with you guys. What? Before the podcast, we were talking about how the new Pokemon game, the reviews are coming out, and apparently it's pretty easy. And I was thinking to myself, shit, I want to really enjoy this game. I want it to be at least a little bit difficult. What should I do? And that's what I should do. I just shouldn't use the XP, and like I'll really kind of, it'll make the game a little bit more. I never thought about that. My God,
I'm not sure if that's in the new one or not.
You're saying you'll make it more grindy?
Yeah, kind of. It'll make it a little less difficult
so
to
isn't this all subjective then? What might be grinding
but I think that's the point. Is I think he's just asking like for each of us, like what is it that makes something
I think this is subjective anyways. Yeah.
And the XP share will absolutely be in this new game. If it's not, people's heads are gonna roll. There was one main game in the series that didn't have XP share, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong, and it was a huge deal. Like, you do not take that vital part of the game out of Pokemon. You're absolutely right. XP, I didn't even think. Oh my god!
And I'm definitely more interested to see what your perspective is, Elena, because like you're on the other side of the scale where you have more time than money.
Yeah.
And like we're on the like more money than time. So like what like to see like what makes it like not respect your time is
right. And well, the cool thing that Josh said is, and what I can do is, let's say, for example, we'll use Pokemon as an example. I'm grinding too much and I get bored of it. Then turn the XP share on. You know what I mean? Like, it gives you the option. You can't do that with these AAA games where you have to buy XP or buy boosters to get XP at a higher rate. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's disrespectful.
Yeah, why couldn't Assassin's Creed have like an XP boost just options, a toggle switch? You know, why they have to sell it to you? I mean, that's kind of shit. I bought it, so I'm fucking to blame.
You're part of the problem.
Yeah, I'm definitely part of the problem. But to move on to me real quick, like I'm kind of the opposite of Shannon here, because I'm such a big hardcore gamer. Like, I've been a hardcore gamer ever since I was a kid. I'm like Mike over there. I want to buy and play fucking everything I'm interested in. You know,
gotta play them all.
To me, like, I want to get through so many games. Like, I hate games that take too long to beat. You know, most of the time I don't care about side quests and bonus levels and all that shit. Like, give me the story, give me the main experience, and I'm good. I love when I can beat a game in like 10 hours and move on to the next one. Now, I'm not saying that the game doesn't respect my time if it doesn't do that. I fully understand that most people aren't like me. They'll buy a couple games a year and that's it, and they want those games to last them. Some people will play the same game for months or a year, you know, and that's totally fine. But for me, Red Dead Redemption 2 is the pinnacle of not respecting your time to me. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of that game. And it's a game that I fully intend to try to beat because I want to see it through, because there's some things that it does it's so amazingly well. But at the same time, it's just the gameplay is so frustrating. Like, the game is overly animated. So every time you do just minimal tasks, it just takes forever. Just going to a mission and getting to the action bits, you know, takes forever because there's so much dialogue, there's so much movement of having to travel from point A to point B, and it's so slow to get there. And the fact that your tutorial lasted almost 4 to 5 hours,
that's another thing.
Is insane. You know, like that tutorial. I mean, I'm 8 hours in, and I'm still getting tutorial shit. Like,
preach.
Yeah, it shouldn't take me that long to learn how to play your fucking game. That is not respecting my time. You know, the game is not a requirement for you to have me beat it in 10 hours, you know. But I love a game, especially open world games, where they give you the option. If you want to get to the story and you want to get to those end credits, they have a path for those people to do that. Skyrim was a great example of that. I beat Skyrim in like 10 hours. People put hundreds of hours into that game, and there's all that content there left for me after I finish it if I want to continue on. But at that point, I wanted just to get the main story and then hit the end credits and then move on to the next game. And they gave me an option to do that. These big open world games stuff, especially like Red Dead Redemption 2, like, you got to grind through so much boring shit in order to get to the next story beat that's interesting and fun. Like, just getting there, it sucks. And everyone's always saying to me, Josh, how come you love Assassin's Creed Odyssey so much? And that's the big problem too. The big problem, I mean, the big comparison between those two for me is that Assassin's Creed Odyssey, everything I'm doing in that game, I'm having fun. It doesn't matter if it's super grindy or if there's so much of it. Yeah, I do agree that game does not respect your time because they make you play so much side content in order to progress to the main story. But for me, I'm having fun no matter what I'm doing in that game. That game is consistently fun to me.
Agreed.
Red Dead is not. So for me, the game has to be consistently fun, and I feel like they don't respect my time if they don't let me focus on the main story and they make me do countless side bullshit in order to get there. Like Red Dead, I want to finish that game so bad because I love the story and the characters, and I love the atmosphere of it. I want to see that game to the end, and that was the best part of Red Dead 1 was the story. I want to see that, but at the same time, getting through 60 hours of that slog of a fucking gameplay system, I doubt it will happen. So that's my answer.
Yeah,
and Red Dead 2 has that input lag too. So like there's this video where you move to the right or to the left and you see that there's like a delay going back and forth compared to like Spider-Man or other games, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. They're pretty respondent. So when they're moving, you're getting somewhere. There's some serious lag in that game.
That is unacceptable. That's another thing too, is like one thing I put was releasing a game that's incomplete or like that is so buggy that it needs big patches post-release. That's a new thing. That's something that's only been happening within like recent years with big AAA titles. It's like, dude, don't release a glitchy game with clipping, with stuff breaking, game breaking things. That's absolutely unacceptable. So hearing that there's input lag for a game like this, like a huge title, that's offensive. Like you can't do things like that. You know what I mean?
I think they did it on purpose though, because they wanted you to feel what it was like, because they want you to spend that 20 minutes getting from point A to point B like you would in real life.
Don't do that.
Ultra realism.
Oh, no.
I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying.
No, I understand. I'm just mad.
You just remind me of another thing. If I buy your game on disc and I have to download a patch that's bigger than the size of the entire fucking game, that's not respecting my time.
Or my PlayStation like hard drive space, you bastards. I shouldn't have to delete 3 games to download your patch. Like,
if you're an open world game and you don't have a save anywhere feature, that is a waste of my time.
Oh, dude, this is just becoming unskippable cutscenes are a waste of my time.
Dude, don't start
That's what I was about to say.
We're going down this hole, y'all.
I put up a meme about unskippable cutscenes, and like somebody gave me a frowny face on our page.
Well, yeah, because Zach is all about story, and like he really if I want, no, don't get me wrong, there are some games I like the story on, I'll pay attention to it. But I'm skipping most of that stuff because if I want a story, I'll read a book or watch a movie. I want to play. I want to move my sticks. I don't want to read a screen. So I know that's just me, and most people want, and that's fine. But I mean, if I can't skip it, like I'm playing Kiwami 2 right now, and thank God I can hit start, I can move over, I can hit skip. I can do it 3-4 times in a row, and then I can get to playing. So yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you, one of the games that ruined it for me was No Man's Sky. When you get into outer space and you like start zooming around wherever you want to go, and you see that like one planet that's like 5 hours away, and you realize that there is no way to get there except for holding down your R2 button for 5 hours.
Thank you.
Oh, dude,
Thank you.
Turn that game right off.
So
what do you think the developer's mindset is on that? They got to know.
They're just trying. I don't know. I don't think no dev goes out, hoping to piss off gamers, like, oh, you're not respecting. They have no intention of doing that, obviously. But I really do think they're trying to get more out of the game. They're trying to provide more. And in doing that, they're taking a lot away from us. You know what I mean? Like
angering their community.
Well, yeah. And by forcing us to engage in, a part of the game that we're not necessarily into. I love what Shannon said about like, with this having to wait, like I wrote down like there are mandatory tedious like game mechanics that I've had to deal with playing certain games, and I was gonna use like God of War, how in the boat, but the boat was fun, like going from point A to point B because there was dialogue sprinkled in, and it wasn't too far and it wasn't too long. But then I thought about Final Fantasy 15 and car travel in Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, that was awful.
And why did I put that game down? That's why. That mandatory, tedious game mechanic that there's no way around, that I just have to just kind of kick back and listen to them talk about their boy band bullshit. And I don't want to. I don't like, right? It's so frustrating to me as a gamer to have like certain things that are becoming more and more commonplace, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like the unskippable cutscenes, like the super, super hand-holdy tutorials, the mandatory game mechanics that you can't, just bypass. Like, give me a quick travel. Come on, man. Like, I'm all for being immersed, but like, I deserve options. We all deserve options. You know what I mean? Because we're all different gamers. Like Shannon's a completely different gamer than Josh, and I'm a completely different gamer than Zach. And you know what I mean? Like we deserve choices. We've paid for choices. I
think that's the ultimate goal for a game developer, though. That's really hard to achieve. Is you have to try to appeal to so many different people, and that's why I love games that. Like I'm trying to think of a great example, but I mean, Skyrim was a really good example for me because you can mainline that game quickly if you want, or you can spend hundreds of hours in it if you want.
Well,
and
that's why it's a classic.
Yeah, and the people that are going to actually devote more time to it are going to get more out of it because they're going to have experiences that I didn't have because I rushed through it. But they give you the option to play it how you want. Breath of the Wild is another good example.
Yeah,
the game will give you direction in the beginning if you want to follow those directions, or you can just go off and do your own damn thing. It gives you options, and I feel like they need to try to balance that to where it appeals to so many different people, and that's ultimately the hardest thing to do. But I mean, there's also outliers for me. Like Dark Souls is one of my favorite games of all time, and I could say that that's probably one of the biggest games that doesn't respect people's time, because they give you no direction, they give you little to no tutorial. They just drop you in there and, you know, figure it out, homie, and that's it.
Yeah.
That game worked for me, you know, but I can understand why that wouldn't work for other people.
It worked for most people, so it must be the mechanics and how they've developed the game.
Mm-hmm. And and what you said earlier about having fun, like I think that's something that hit really hard for me, because I've experienced games with unskippable cutscenes, with all of this, and I've still enjoyed certain games that checked off all the boxes that didn't respect my time. And you know what? Those games I enjoyed because they had that little magical aspect of me having fun. And I will put up with so much bullshit if I'm having fun. Everything just falls away. The microtransactions, the long load times, the unskippable cutscenes, the mandatory dialogue, it all falls away if I'm having fun. You know what I mean?
You know what the biggest offender of that is Metal Gear Solid 4. The cutscenes in that game were so long.
And I love that game, but
I think they're unskippable. But that's my favorite Metal Gear Solid game. It still is. I love that game. It's probably the only one in the series I could say I loved. But there was things that were totally go against, you know, my qualities and games I look for. But that game was just a blast to play, and I really liked the story, so I dealt with it.
Yeah,
so it all comes down to how fun it is.
And who you are as a gamer, like what you like. Like if you like grinding, you know, it might work out for you, or, you know, maybe it's just that specific game. It really does just depend. Like, I'm so curious to hear Zach's take on this, though. Like, I really want to hear it next week.
Yeah, we'll have him give his answer then. But thanks, Stoy, for giving us the feedback, man. Much appreciated. Hopefully that answered your question. We just kind of went on a rant there for
that was
a bit,
a good one. That was fun.
But part 2 of this will come next week. We'll have Zach give his opinions as well. So anyways, let's go on to our weekly consultation. Now we're kind of in between some big releases right here, so there's not really a whole lot for us to talk about this week, because right now we're in between Spyro and Pokemon coming out this week, and then we have Battlefield coming out as well. So we'll be covering all of those next week for sure. I did play a little bit of Spyro today. I picked it up on the way home. I will save most of my conversation for that for next week, but I did play several levels of the first Spyro so far, and they nailed it. Like they nailed it. So we'll talk more about that next week. But if you were wondering if that game is going to live up to the originals, they nailed it. So go buy it if you're a Spyro fan. I'll just tell you that right now. So first and foremost, I'll just speed through these really quick for me. I picked up the Dark Souls Remastered for the Switch, and I also picked up Diablo 3 Eternal Edition for the Switch. So those are 2 ports of 2 of my favorite games of all time that I grabbed for the Switch because I thought they would be great in portable form. Now, I did complain about Dark Souls several episodes ago when they did the network test, how it didn't feel right in the control department, and it felt kind of laggy, and the frame rate was kind of off and stuff like that. Thankfully, they did fix that in the full version. So that's one of the reasons why I went ahead and picked it up. It's one of my favorite games ever, and just having it portable, I just had to have it. So I bought it. Now, I bought Diablo 3 because I have not played that game in quite some time. I played through it and maxed out a Demon Hunter on the PC version, and I love the game to death, but I never did pick up the Necromancer add-on for it. And I never played one of the console versions, and I thought Diablo on the go sounded great. So I picked this up, and I started playing as a Necromancer. I can tell you guys that if you like Diablo 3 and you want it on the go, this version is very, very good. The controls are great. It looks great. The frame rate's rock solid at 60 frames per second. It's very hard to get that game to dip below 60. The only time you're going to is when you have a bunch of people in your party and you're all shooting off crazy spells at the same time with like a million enemies on screen. It'll dip a little bit. But otherwise, it's great. It's fully featured. Everything's there that you would expect to have in a Diablo game. If you are interested in this, it's definitely great. So pick it up. But funny thing for me is that Dark Souls Remastered took my time more than Diablo 3 did. And Dark Souls Remastered, I mean, Dark Souls, I've played this game. I own it on 4 different platforms now. And I've played through this game probably 3 or 4 times. And every time I play it differently than I did before. I always use a class I've never used before and a weapon type I've never used before. I started a sorcerer in this game, and I want to start using the sorcery stuff because I've seen these super awesome, sorcerer builds in Dark Souls that just like wipe through everything in the game, and it looked really fun to play it that way. So I made the character, and I just meant to just play through the beginning area and then get the Firelink Shrine and then just, shelve it because I just want to check it out. And I started looking up stuff online on stuff that I should be grabbing as a sorcerer and what I should be focusing on. And then I got hooked on this game completely all over again. Again, this is a very good version of the game. It runs at 30 frames, not 60 like the other remasters do, but it's perfectly fine that way. They fixed Blight Town, so it doesn't run at like 10 frames per second anymore. I've already been through that area in my playthrough right now, and it runs really good. Obviously, not having the network stuff on all the time might be a downer for some people unless you have Wi-Fi access. But otherwise, it's a really good version of Dark Souls. So I actually highly recommend both of these if you want Dark Souls and Diablo on the go. So check those out if you have not. Also, the Tetris Effect. Now, Elena, have you been playing more of this too?
I've just played the demo over and over again, man. It's so fun. It's like my go-to thing when I want to impress people. I'm like, hey, watch me do this. And they're like, whoa, you're good at this.
And Mike, I know you played this and you weren't feeling it, right?
I've never been a Tetris guy. So yeah, I get the appeal. I get why people enjoy it. But
it's like saying you don't like Galaga. Like, shut up. It's like saying you don't like Pac-Man. Like, come on, man.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So we talked about this game last week. Zach and I talked about it quite a bit, but that was just the demo. The full version came out on Friday. So I had it pre-ordered, and I think it was I didn't get to play it till Saturday. Saturday, I strapped the headset on when my son went to bed, and I played through the journey mode, which is like his campaign mode. I played through the whole thing in one sitting. Now, given it only takes you a couple hours to beat it. But I played through the whole thing, and I absolutely loved it. I love the music in this game. Tetris is always addictive, and having it, into the beat of these songs with this visual craziness going on all around you, it's an incredible experience to play the game this way. And so not only that, I played it entirely in VR. And then I played it entirely all through it again on a higher difficulty without VR, just on my TV. And I have to tell you guys, playing it both ways has its strengths and weaknesses. So they both are amazing for different reasons. So obviously the VR mode is very, it's very all-encompassing. Like everything's just all around you instead of you just looking at it on a static TV. Like it feels like you're in it, which is really, really cool. So it's very immersive. It's a little blurry, but most games in VR are. I noticed even on an Oculus Rift, the games look a little blurry. But yeah, so there is that. But just being in that and experiencing it with the headphones and the positional audio and all that stuff is really, really cool. But the thing about playing it on a TV is that if you're playing it on a 4K TV with HDR, this is the best use of HDR I've ever seen a video game have. The colors are absolutely astonishing in HDR. Like they just pop right off the TV, and watching these crazy, visual shows on your screen while you're playing Tetris with this amazing soundtrack in the background and watching all the colors pop so well in HDR is pretty incredible in its own right. So I feel like if you don't have VR, this game is still a must buy, in my opinion. If you do have VR, it's an even cooler experience. I still keep wanting to play this game, and I love playing all the different challenge modes. That old school Game Boy thing that they unlocked with the weekly ritual last week was incredibly cool.
What is that? It looks awesome, man. Like,
yeah, so they have these things called a weekly ritual, and if you play these like recommended challenges, like everybody in the community who's playing it together has to like collectively hit a goal for the week. If you do, you unlock like avatar rewards, and they will unlock this 1989 Tetris VR old school Game Boy, and they remix the old Tetris Game Boy like theme song with like a techno beat, and it's super, super cool. And but if you don't hit that daily ritual, if you don't like participate in that and you play it over the weekend when they unlock it, you actually unlock that to play whenever you want once you hit level 50 in their little like level up system. So you can do it that way as well. But yeah, I can tell you guys right now, this is my game of the year. It's fucking Tetris, and it's my game of the year.
So let's say we take the VR out of the mix. Would you still? Do you think you would still feel that way? Because I play right away, immediately, like that, like nothing, like damn. When he knows, man.
Okay, I want to make sure.
Game of the year.
I understood this correctly, though. You're telling everyone that the best use of HDR is Tetris Effect that you've seen.
Yes.
Wow. So I have not seen colors. 4,
no,
not Gears 5, not Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but Tetris Effect.
Yes, because I have not seen.
I wanted to make sure I understood.
I have not
He's
seen.
Like, I'm out. Bye.
I have not seen my TV produce that vibrant of colors before until I played this game. This game is the one that made it like pop to me. Like
I thought I was on drugs. I was like
I stood up and like, and I instantly like realized it. Like I'm like, wow, this. Statement. Yeah, I'm like, these colors are absolutely the most vibrant thing I've ever seen on my TV. I've never seen my TV produce that before until this game.
Huh. Okay. I'll have to check it out. But Horizon 4 for me is, I mean,
Horizon Zero Dawn was super good with HDR as well. That game was pretty impressive too. Okay. But yeah, if you guys like, I mean, obviously you have to like Tetris in order to like this game. So if you don't like playing Tetris,
no, it's not even about that. It's just when you're telling me that the HDR pops when you're, dropping blocks with the music. I mean, I just
it's the visual show in the back that would do it. It's not Tetris blocks. But
okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But like I said, just to wrap up the Tetris Effect, like this is my game of the year, but at least for right now, and that could change. But in order to enjoy this game, you still have to like Tetris. But at the same time, this is the best soundtrack I've heard this year, and I think it sucks at the Game Awards to not nominate this for best sound. I think that's a travesty. It definitely deserves it. I love the music in this game. I hope they release a soundtrack because I will buy it. That's one of the appeals of the game. I like playing through it just to listen to the music.
Big time.
Yeah, and there's so many amazing tracks in this game. But it's just this game plays on emotions that most games don't. Like there's times where I was playing this game, I felt absolutely moved to damn near a tear or two. Like there's this level that takes place in a desert. And the music kicks in, and then it transitions to you being on the surface of the moon, and combined with what you're seeing with the music, like it was incredibly moving. Stuff like that, like, and it's crazy because it's a Tetris game, but it goes beyond that so much. And please give this game a shot. Like I know it's $40 sounds like a lot for a Tetris game, but I will replay this game over and over and over again. I know I will. I easily got my $40 worth out of it.
I got it. With all these Black Friday deals for the PSVR, it's like hearing those deals in conjunction with what you just said about Tetris. It's like, you could buy some stupid handbag you want for your work or some bullshit, or you could just buy this instead. Like I have this weird dilemma right now where I'm like deciding whether or not to buy like cutesy girl shit for myself or whether to, because Black Friday's coming. We all know we're going to get ourselves a little something, or like a PSVR, and I'm just like, what should I do?
Zach has been very anti-VR for quite a while, and
it's so cheap.
Even he's considering getting it because of this game. So
wow.
That'll tell you that much.
That and the price of, for Black Friday, I think he might just take the plunge. I'm really curious to see if he's gonna, because
that's Resident Evil 7 for me, but
Oh, for PSVR?
That's why I would get the PSVR on PlayStation. I have an Oculus, so but yeah, but okay, cool. That's good.
I will tell you, going from an Oculus, you will definitely see a dip in quality.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The games definitely do look, but I even thought games looked a little blurry in Oculus when I played them.
Yeah, some of them did.
I played Robo Recall, and I definitely noticed like some of that blur is still there, but still.
It depends on your hardware too.
Yeah. So Mike, what about you, man? What have you been playing?
Kiwami 2. I'm actually getting Fallout 76 tonight, right after the podcast. So that's really what
I've heard bad things, man.
I've heard mixed things, yeah.
I'm not a big Fallout guy anyway, but I like the online component of it. That's kind of, I think the bad things that you've been hearing is just the beta didn't run very well. Or if you plan on soloing it, which was probably going to be more of what I did than anything else. But I met some people on Facebook, I think through, it was a couple, I'm on a couple gaming threads, so it could have been this one, it could have been another one, but people we've just been exchanging names, and I think I'm going to get with them as opposed to playing it more solo based. But I think it's, at the end of the day, it's a Fallout game. I think it's going to be okay. I think it's not done right now. We're kind of beta testing it, and it'll get a lot better as time goes on. And I think I'll dig it down the line. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to like it so much tonight, but I think I will like it eventually. It's just one of those things where they, like we talked about, they release it sometimes not finished, or the beta didn't really run that well, and it's causing some problems on the PS4, especially where it's doing something where if you downloaded the beta, you can't remove it from your hard drive or something, I'm hearing. So if you don't, unless you buy the whole game or something, it's just weird. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness going on for sure. But if it works, if they nail it, or if they fix it enough towards, it could be something special. But yeah, the only time will tell. So that's really what I'm going to be jumping into for the next week or so, just to see what that's about.
Very curious to see what you think about it.
Cool.
Anything else?
Well, I'm just playing the usual stuff that I've been playing that I've probably talked about. I'm still playing Odyssey. There's a game-breaking bug in Odyssey that's driving me nuts.
This is what I'm talking about, guys.
No. Well, look, I've always said this is the Skyrim effect. Think about all the bugs Skyrim had. When a game is that big and that expansive,
yeah,
you're gonna have bugs.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I did keep that in mind.
There's this one bug where I have to transport this lady to a certain area, and come to find out that she gives me a bunch of different things to do, and then but she's one of the cultists, and I have to kill her, and there's so many cultists you have to kill to get to the final person. And this isn't, once again, side quest versus main quest. I've already beaten the main game, but there's some things I still want to do. And when I was taking her when she was following me into the city, something happened where people attacked me, and I started defending her, but she kind of got bumped or jostled, and now she cowers and she won't move. And I go and talk to her. She goes, I really need to get to the city to move forward. And I've looked everywhere, and they basically say the only way to do it is to reload your checkpoint. And I skipped it and moved ahead and done other stuff, and I'm 40 hours ahead of that. So there's no way I can do that. And I'm hoping that they patch this at some point, because I can't kill this last cultist to get to the final person to unlock a bunch of stuff that leads to cool things to do. So this is the longest I've gone without playing that game, which has been about, 36 hours, because I'm really wallowing in this, and it's driving. I've checked it online, a few other people it's happened to as well, and it's just my dumb luck. So I finally turned that off, and it was funny, I was playing Gears of War 4. I haven't tried it yet on the enhanced HDR version, and I thought that really popped too. Not Tetris Effect pop, but
yeah.
But I was just playing that right before we hopped on, and I'm probably gonna, after I go pick up Fallout 4 or Fallout 76, I'm probably gonna play that a little more after I assume Fallout 76 is gonna make me angry.
This guy's over here living my dream. Like, I'm going to go pick up a game and then come back and play a game. And then when I'm bored with that game, I'll play another game. And I'm just like... Well,
unemployment has its advantages outside of not bringing in any money. The rest is pretty damn cool.
That's what I'm for, boo. Just hit me up. I'll Venmo you. It's cool. What do you need? I'll buy it for you. You got it.
All right, Lena. You've been playing some mobile... You've been playing some mobile games, right, Elena?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I got Mr. Jordan Derringer High gave me some recommendations a couple weeks back. I was asking for some mobile game recommendations because I've effectively retired Dragalia Lost. I used all my in-game currency and got a couple bad drops, and I just decided to uninstall it. It's a good game. Don't get me wrong. I was really very, very into it when I played it, but I played it to death, and I felt like there's nothing more for me to do. So, whatever. So I moved on to other things, and he recommended Amazing Katamari Damacy, and I think it was Dragon Ball Z, I don't want to butcher this, Dokkan Battle. And the cool thing about Amazing Katamari Damacy, and by the way, I listened to both of these with the music on, so I'm just gonna throw that out there. The music was on for both of these mobile games. It's a Katamari game, my friend. The music is integral. Like, it is a part of the game. Like, come on, we all recognize how good that music is.
Play mobile games with sound.
not Katamari Damacy. I had to turn off. I didn't have to, but
how does
Dragon Ball.
I'm curious because how does it play on a cell phone, and is there microtransactions?
With Amazing Katamari Damacy?
Yes.
So I didn't see any microtransactions, but it's a mobile game. So let's just say yes. I was able to purchase it for free. So I would be led to believe that, yeah, there are going to be some microtransactions. I haven't gotten that far. I highly doubt I'll ever spend money on it. But it feels good because one of my biggest complaints was prior to this, the only part of the Katamari like mobile catalog was this game called Tap Your Katamari. And it was like a 2D side-scrolling endless tapper, you know what I mean? Just like tap, 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 and that's all you really do. And that's not a game. That's just a time suck. Like that's all it does is just take time away from me while I have to poop. Like we all know, Shannon and I know this. That's what we do. We play mobile games. Like that's all. That's what mobile games are for, y'all. Let's not lie.
Amen.
Right? Preach. But with this, you can, it feels more true to an actual Katamari Damacy game. You know what I mean? It's three-dimensional. It's not a side scroller. You know, it's third person facing forward and you're controlling the Katamari, or the prince controlling the Katamari. And it's much better compared to the Tap Your Katamari because of the whole 2D aspect. So another thing I'll admit, besides the great music, because it's a Katamari game, the music's very nice. It's fun to listen to with headphones on when you just want to, like, you know, play Katamari but not, you know, plug in your PlayStation 2. You know, I know it's been released for other consoles, but still, I don't have it. So a couple of little things that I've enjoyed with the game is there's a couple of things that are customizable. Like you can adjust the touch sensitivity. So you can, you know, for example, you can change the control scheme from your joystick so the sensitivity is higher and you can move a little easier. But the thing I enjoyed the most was the tilt option, which actually implements the use of your phone's gyroscope to move around. Think like Super Monkey Ball for the mobile device. I don't know if that's a pretty famous, like,
I love Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah, man, the use of that, the gyroscope, and maybe it's gyros. I don't know. It's not a sandwich, but
a gyroscope. You eat it?
I don't know how to pronounce it, man. Like I
think you're right the first time.
Okay, so a gyroscope. So that for me, if you're gonna play this, and I would recommend you download this and just give it a quick try. It makes it feel a lot better. It's a lot more immersive when you're able to actually, I wouldn't recommend doing it in public, but when you're actually able to move the phone, it's much nicer than just swiping. You know what I mean? Even if you up the sensitivity, it feels much better, you know? Yeah. But in regards to the game, I can't say much about it. It's just a nice little like time waster. I can see myself playing it, you know, when I have a little bit of, another thing is the cousins. You can get the cousins in game, which I'm not sure if you could get for the Tap Your Katamari version. So I like Amazing Katamari Damacy. I'm going to keep playing it. I think it was a really good recommendation, especially based on the fact that, you know, I was looking for something kind of, you know, that more for me. But I will say that, you know, between this and Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, these are more casual mobile games. Whereas and Shannon, I think you know this, Dragalia Lost is more of it's much less casual of a mobile game. It requires more of your time. It requires more of a commitment. I'm definitely looking for something that's a little more of a commitment, although I do love these type of casual mobile games. But with Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, I expected it to be a fighter, you know, because there are a lot of Dragon Ball fighters on the mobile and, you know, on consoles right now. So it wasn't. It was actually puzzle based, and the dialogue style was very comic-y looking, and it was very cool. It reminded me of like the good old days when I'd be reading like my paper thin issue of Dragon Ball Z that actually my dad bought me when we like would pick up a game at Blockbuster, you know. It really kind of took me back there. And I was worried that this game would just be pure nostalgia and that's all I'd have to go by. But once I found out that it wasn't a fighter, because I've given these fighter games a shot on the mobile devices and I wasn't really into it. I'd much rather play a fighter on a console. It's just more intuitive. You know, once I found out it was like a touch-based puzzle game, it became a lot more fun for me, especially because it's not heavily plot-based. I was hoping that it wouldn't be, because sometimes they can get kind of like Dragalia Lost, there was a lot of plot, and thankfully I was able to skip it. That game respected my time, but I don't really want to be getting involved in the ins and outs of like Dragon Ball Z, because as many of you know, I haven't watched Super yet, so I don't want any spoilers in my mobile games. Okay, like I just don't. So you know, you can get you can play with a lot of the OG Dragon Ball characters. So I know a lot of them. Like I watched all of Dragon Ball Z. I watched as much as I could manage of GT. So there's a rule. I don't want to talk about GT. One thing I really liked about this is you can tell Bandai Namco, the makers of this game, didn't have a fat budget, but it still has a lot of individual character. Like you can tell the people who made this really wanted it to be a good game. But it ended up like, I want to say like Puzzle Bobble or like Bust-A-Move, if you guys remember Bust-A-Move for the Dreamcast. It's kind of like that, but you don't throw the bubbles up. You just kind of click them in like a combo based set and you take down your enemy. So it's a fighting game in the sense that you take down their HP, but it's a puzzle game in the way that you take down their HP, if that makes any sense. So you collect key spheres when you attack, which allow you to move closer to your foe. And the more you collect, the stronger your attack. And it's just really charming. I really like it. You know, it's a little rough around the edges, but if anything, that just adds to the character. So if you're a fan of, you know, the DBZ series at all and you're looking for like a nice little puzzle game to pass the time with characters that you like love and recognize, I definitely recommend this. And if you like Katamari Damacy at all, both of these games are free. I would definitely recommend just picking them up and trying them. And thank you very much for the recommendations, because these were a lot of fun to play. If anybody else has any more, man, I'm always willing to play some free mobile games. I ain't playing no $14.99 for no Mario Run though, sorry. It's not happening.
I bought Mario Run. I got my $10 worth out of it. But
okay, you got it on sale for 10. Wasn't it 15 at one point?
No, it was 10 from the start.
Okay, yeah. That's not as egregious. That's still pretty bad though.
They had it on sale for 5 for a while, but then it went back up to 10, I believe. But
I could never ever pay. Nah. We're getting there though. The screens are getting bigger, the phones are getting better, so I could definitely see myself making some bigger purchases on mobile. Like
I actually bought a mobile game this past week. Yeah, I picked up the Professor Layton in the Curious Village for I never played that game on the DS. So and I played so I played Miracle Mask on the 3DS because I remember back when Club Nintendo was around, which is significantly better than what we have now. They were giving free games out for one point if you hit like a certain milestone. And knowing me, I buy everything, so I made that milestone very easily. And that was the game that I picked for free because it was one of the few I didn't have. And so I played it, and I really liked that game. And I haven't played any of the other Professor Layton games. So we're like, for $10 for a mobile, complete mobile version of that, I could see myself playing that here and there. Yeah, so I haven't played it yet, but it's coming, and I'll check that soon, and I'll check back with you guys and let you know how I feel about it. But so Shannon, what's Dragon Quest 11 Watch 2018? How's it going?
Oh man, so let me tell you, they do a couple things in this game right. Like the quests and stuff like that. If you have to do a fetch quest and you have to go somewhere and then you have to go back and forth like multiple times, it finally just cuts out the bullshit and is just like, okay, we're gonna quick travel you back to your spot, and then you can see what's going on over here. Like, so you don't have to navigate like you don't have to walk back and forth a lot, which is great. One thing that I noticed that was a little creepy and weird. So there's 2 sisters that you can pick up in that become part of your party, and one of them, due to a magical spell, has been turned into like a 6-year-old. But she still has like the brain, like her body is the age of a 6-year-old, but her body is whatever age she is, like late 20s. But her sister, like the way that they're always set up in the shots, like in the animations, is the short sister's in the front and the tall sister's in the back. But when you change out your armor sets for your better gear, like every character in your party basically stays the same. Like it doesn't matter what you put on them, except for the tall sister in the back. And when they do those shots, and like some of the outfits are a little bit more questionable, like as far as like it's that typical trope where like the less the girl wears, the higher her armor stats are. So like there's there's one where she's like a dancer, right? And like it's a pretty good setup. And so she's got to wear that for a while. And like every scene that I've been in, like when the short sister talks, you're just staring into that lady's crotch. And it's just like, okay, did somebody do this intentionally?
You know they did, boo.
Like, yeah, or like, is this just the, like it was just kind of like an after effect. But like, yeah, there's like, like, this chick gets like a fur robe and she gets like battle greaves and everything, and then this chick gets like a dancer's outfit or a bustier or whatever, and she's the only one, like when you change the armor, like she's the only one whose armor changes when you put on the new outfits. And I just thought, I don't know, I just thought it was
she's
really
the one that's like the 6-year-old.
No, it's the older one, the one that didn't.
So when you said it was creepy, I thought that she had the body of an older person, but the mind of a 6-year-old. So it's basically a 6-year-old that's like scandally clad.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because that would be weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, so you got like the one chick who's got like the old brain in the 6-year-old's body, and then you got like the other one who's just a regular, like she's your healer, your team healer.
Oh, I get it.
But like, when you're playing dress up with her, like I said, like she's the only one whose armor set actually changes when you give her outfits. And like the way that they have it set up, you're always staring at her crotch. It's kind of like after a while you're just like, this is really like just I don't want to hear I don't want to hear the sisters talk anymore. Just keep me out of it. But
man, I'm sold now.
And
I know, right? So, yeah, like
Mike's over there salivating. He's sold too.
Oh, can't you tell?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Japanese games, like these very anime Japanese games are always like that, man. Like they just don't care about that stuff in their culture, like we do. Like we freak out about it now, and they're just like whatever, man. They're super sexual, with their designs of their women and stuff over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's normal.
We'll get there, y'all.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go ahead and move on to our week in review here. So Elena, let's throw it to you since you weren't here last week. What's going on with you?
Well, I spoiled it a little bit, but my dad gave me a TV, and I finally
4K HDR.
Dad, what is it? Tell me. I don't know.
No, it's
are you a cheap ass, Mike?
It's just a 40. It was a 43-inch Vizio 4K. It's not HDR. It's nothing.
You can use
it's 4K.
There's
4K.
Netflix.
Yeah,
Wait, it's 4K.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I don't even know what you guys were talking about TVs earlier, and I was like, "What the fuck are they saying?" Like, what?
Just make sure if you want to get that 4K like out of that TV, you got to get those 4K cables. You can't just use the regular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've been using it. Okay, I'll finally take that plunge when I get some more money. But
you guys sit close enough that you'll see the difference if you were looking at because you were using the old plasma TV, and the plasma was nice. I love those plasmas, but this one will look better.
I think what I can do, because I don't know the measurements, is I can say that I could fit 4 of my old television screens in my current new television screen. It's about 4 times as large. I'm not even joking. It has changed my life immensely. I'm never leaving my house, Dad. So
if it makes you feel better, when I was a teenager, I played all my video games on a small 13-inch color TV.
Oh my god, man!
Try black and white. Okay.
We're getting real old over here.
Yeah, I wasn't that bad, but
oh man, I've played some stuff on some older stuff, but fortunately, I've always been pretty lucky to have the hand-me-downs of this guy right here. So, the TV is splendid. It's completely changed. Like, just living with my boyfriend, having a television in the bedroom is a lot nicer. It's a lot more peaceful, and like it's got Netflix. You know what I mean? So I can just watch Netflix whenever I want. It's like super easy to chill. I basically have got my Switch on one TV and my PS4 on another, and like I'll just be like, you know what? I'm gonna go in the other room and play Switch because we've got 2 rooms in this place right here that we have to ourselves. So one's a game room and the other's our bedroom. So both of them are the game room now. Essentially, like I've just expanded. I've opened up shop in the bedroom. Basically,
it's a decent Vizio. But what I like about it is the remote. If you flip it over, it has a full keyboard on the back of it. Which,
it's incredible.
By the way, LG, Samsung, none of them have that. But it's really nice when you have to. You don't use it that much, but like if every time I have to log into Hulu again or type in my big long email address, and that makes it so easy. It was like just a nice little feature that the Vizio does that other ones don't.
Using your PlayStation controller to sign in for anything is just straight murder. Like it's awful.
My TV's a Roku TV. And I can just use an app, and you can just type with your phone with the app to do all that stuff, and it's pretty easy.
Very helpful.
But man, the hardware on that remote is very cool because when I first got it, I felt the buttons on the back, and there are obviously buttons on the front, and the buttons on the back, I was like, I'm gonna hit these accidentally. It's not going to be good. But one, it doesn't do anything. You know, it doesn't affect anything unless you're like, you've got, you know, you're getting ready to type and it's prompted. And two, they're not that. It's very easy to just like kind of let your hand rest on it. So that, and just, you know, Netflix being part of the actual television, and Amazon as well, is very, very cool. Like iHeartRadio as well, but y'all know I'm using Podbean. Like I'm not using iHeartRadio. And then my couch finally came in. You guys have heard me talking about this for months. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but like, my God, man, just to have the couch finally here after 2.5 months of bullshit. Like we ended up having to get a different couch. Like the company lied to us and kept trying to push it off and push it off and push it off. And we finally were like, okay, we're going down there. And we raised a little bit of hell and ended up getting free shipping. And like, I think I've already mentioned this, but yeah, the couch is here, man, and it's sweet. I love it so much. It's like a really nice denim. It's my first like couch. This is the first couch I've ever bought to myself, so I'm trying to take care of it and shit, and it's like my baby, and I'm like, get the dog off the couch, get the dog off the like lint rolling it and stuff. Like
that's how I was when we bought our sectional, but then I had a kid, and now I've had milk and orange juice and shit spilled
spit
all
up and poo-poos and
yeah.
I can't even imagine, man. Like it'll get dirty, but you know how it is with your first couch. You always want to baby it. Same with your like first bed. You're always like, oh, I gotta take first car, gotta take good care of it. First kid, then the second one, you're like, it's fine, just whatever.
Yeah. Fell on the floor and just dust it off on your pants.
Are we talking about a baby? Or are we talking about a couch cushion? Who knows? I have no idea. No, but it's just been nice getting everything established, because I've lived here for over 6 months. So like we're just getting like some domestic bliss going on over here. I'm just like really enjoying it, you know, starting to feel at home after 6 months. Yeah, it's good.
Very cool. I remember the first time I moved out of my parents' house into an apartment, that was like, it just never felt like home. You know, like it's hard. It's anywhere you go, it's hard to like really break in that feeling. Like I didn't really get that until I bought my own house, and like a couple years later, and now I feel like I'm home. You know?
Yeah, man. I know exactly what you mean. I've lived 3 places in 3 years, and it never felt quite like home. But when I go and visit my dad, it's like, hey, what's up? You know, just coming in, sit down, same spot as always. Like
getting in the fridge, like you own the place.
Totally. Like, can I borrow this game? Oh, you're not using this, are you? Okay, cool. I'll see you later. Bye.
Dad, give me a beer.
No, I'm not 16 anymore.
yeah, we drank beer at 16.
No, we didn't. I'm just fucking around. Right. It wasn't beer, it was Macallan.
O'Doul's.
Expensive
the illusion of alcohol.
Yeah.
It was a virgin daiquiri, y'all.
What about you, Mike?
For me, basically, everything's been breaking for me. My gaming laptop crapped out. My Can-Am Spider I took to the shop today. My Durango needs to go to the shop. My cable box started acting up, or my receiver. I'm trying to troubleshoot that. It just seems like over the last week I've had 4 major things happen, and I'm just like wondering what the hell's going on. So
grim luck.
You know, just deal with them one at a time. And I've worked in IT for years, and like literally my laptop, it stopped recognizing my video card. Like, but not only did it not stop recognizing my video card, but it also, like, all software that has to do with NVIDIA is gone from my computer. It's just gone. The partition on
what's the brand?
BIOS.
What's the brand on the computer?
MSI. It's an MSI.
Okay.
And I looked it up online. I can't really find this exact issue. They said, oh, well, the memory or the video card must have got bumped, and I cracked that thing open, and there's 4 screws. It's not bumped. It could have died, but normally when it dies, it'll give you like a blue screen of death. It still runs. Yeah. It just goes to the integrated 4600 Intel. And I mean, it's just, like I said, I've worked in IT for a long time, and this is not making any sense. And I got a second opinion, and they couldn't figure it out either. And they've been working on computers for 20 years. So I just hit the bad luck lottery when it comes to weird shit. So so I'll be in the market for a new gaming laptop probably soon anyway. Now's a good time to get it anyway.
It's actually perfect. It worked out for the best, because it died right the week before Black Friday.
At least give me a good time. So
couldn't be better.
I really like those Razer blades, those Razer blade laptops that Razer makes. Like if I wanted to spend that much, like that'd be the one I would get. Those things are
they're very nice. They're very nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but other than that, just trying to stay on top of things that are breaking and keep playing my 50 to 60 hours of gaming a week while I'm still unemployed.
You're my hero.
Awesome.
Hey man, gotta do it while I can, because once I go back to work, it goes back down to about 10 to 20.
Yeah, it's always hard to find a job around this time too, because everyone's in the holiday mood and not really a lot of people are hiring. So I've been there, man. I know how it is. Hopefully you get back on your feet, dude.
Thanks.
All right, for me, my son turns 4 on the 4th of December. So yeah, so we're planning his birthday party right now, and this is the first time that we're actually going to go somewhere. It's hard to have a birthday party for a kid that's born in the winter, because it's not like you can go to a park,
especially
and have a
in Ohio.
birthday party.
Yeah.
So it sucks. So we always had his birthday parties at our house, and our house isn't that big. And when my wife wants to invite everybody under the damn sun to it, and it's hard to pack people into our house. And right now our dining room's still down because of that flood that we had in there. And I have someone lined up to fix that in January. So hopefully that'll be fixed. But
I thought you meant this January. I was like, wait, you've been waiting 11 months?
Yeah, this January.
You've been waiting? Oh my goodness! I thought I had it rough with the couch.
I couldn't get I couldn't do anything to it until we found an accurate landscaper that could come out and fix the issue with the water running down the hill. And we got that taken care of, so that's good now. And I haven't had a drop of water in our garage in our house or anything like that since we got that done. So
hey, that's progress.
So now we got someone that's going to come in and re-drywall the whole thing. I got someone coming and put in a new floor and all the whole shebang. So, but anyways, so yeah, we planned his birthday party at like this sort of like Chuck E. Cheese, kind of like poor man's Chuck E. Cheese in a way. It's called the Magic Castle, and they have like putt and all kinds of stuff like that there. But they also have like a big indoor thing, and they have like all kinds of arcade like games and like Chuck E. Cheese like games for kids to play, and you get tickets and you can cash them in for prizes and stuff like that. So we booked his birthday party there, and my kid's a big Toy Story fanatic. He loves Toy Story, and it's really hard to find Toy Story shit right now because, I mean, well, you can find some stuff, but I mean, like he wants like every character you can imagine, like a toy of it, and like since it's been a while since Toy Story 3 came out, like it's you have to try to scour the internet to look for a lot of this stuff. Luckily, next year the 4th one will come out, so there'll be plenty of toys to choose from then. But so yeah, we're trying to get this whole Toy Story theme party going, and we're trying to find all these Toy Story toys that he would want and stuff. And so it's going to be a big money sink. So because it's definitely a hell of a lot more expensive having a party, catered somewhere other than just having it in your house. But we're doing it for him, and it should be fun. So
as long as you get good video and good photos, it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Oh man. To be able to look at, that's half the fun, man. Because my memory's so bad. It's like I usually just take video footage and I'm out and look at it later. It's like, that's the best. Like,
yeah, and I would prefer to have it somewhere where the kids can have fun. They're not just sitting on our living room floor and everyone's fighting over our bathroom and shit like that. And there's like 30 some people packed into our house. So this is definitely going to be a better route. So Shannon, man, I heard about your snag on the washer.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Like I feel like I won the lottery, even though like
you won the adult lottery.
Yeah, I know. Like
I'm not talking about porn.
So yeah, like our washing machine, like straight up, like it was like probably as old as the house, and like it just like finally like the top loader just like spun a bearing and like it was just donezo. Like it like the whole drum like just disintegrated. So we went out to get a new washer, and there's a place around us called Airport Home Appliance, and they were having this huge liquidation sale in their warehouse, not their actual store. So we went there, and they were having this promotion, and they said, hey, like, if you put up a picture of the appliance when you buy it and you put it on Facebook and all your media, and you put a hashtag, this hashtag, if we pull your name, you get your appliances for free. So I was like, oh, sweet. And like, I was looking around, and they're not to like, be ageist or anything, but like, there were a lot of people that were like over like 60 there that were just like, we ain't doing this crap. So we were just like, yeah, like, us being like the younger people here, like, we're going to throw this up all over. Like, I'm just going to puke this up all over any of my social media. So we split up the purchases of the washer and the dryer so that we had like double the chances. And like, we all took our pictures and we hashtagged it and everything. And you know, 3 weeks went by and we didn't really hear anything. And then all of a sudden, like we got this call this week, and they were just like, "Hey, is Maggie there?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And
yeah, that's me.
That's me, man.
Well, yeah, it's a Shannon or Maggie. It doesn't like they usually just think we're a bunch of lesbians, but you know, anyway, they were just like, "Hey, you know, here you go. Like, we just want to let you know, like, we saw your photo up on pretty much like everything. Anytime we searched for, you know, hashtag like, you know, my big save, like your picture popped up. So we're gonna credit you your like $600 for your washer." And I was just like, "Oh, that's so awesome." So you know, my ugly mug didn't win anything, but you know, this like we basically went out and bought the washer and then the matching dryer because we can't have an unmatching set, which kind of upset me. But now we are like, you know, we only paid for basically the dryer. So, you know,
buy one, get one, kind of.
Yeah, buy one, get one. Yeah, dude.
BOGO, baby.
Like half
BOGO.
So
now you don't have to worry about it later. Like,
yeah,
they're both done.
Yeah, and they're under warranty. And
oh yeah,
so both my washer and dryer are fairly new. We bought the dryer when we moved, and when my wife and I got our townhome about 3 years ago. But our washer crapped the bed last year. And our refrigerator. So we had to buy a refrigerator and a washer last year.
Dude, the refrigerators where they get you. Like the washing machine and the dryer, for some reason, they're not that bad. But like those new refrigerators, damn, dude, they can get pricey. Expensive.
Yeah, we got, and it sucks too because we got a Samsung one. And it's one of like the ones of the French doors where the freezer's on the bottom. It was pretty much like my dream refrigerator, you know. Like I wanted one of those, and we got a really good deal on it. And then everyone after I bought it, like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, our refrigerator broke down. It's a Samsung one. They're pieces of shit." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, I bought that one because I thought it was supposed to be like one of the best ones you could buy." And yeah, apparently I've heard from a lot of people that Samsung refrigerators are garbage. So
they are, but most of them are. There aren't too many that get like consistently good reviews. It's a crapshoot no matter what you buy.
Yeah, and like, what was it? They were talking at the place. They were like, not to get political or anything, but like this whole like Trump like steel and like trade tariffs and stuff like that. Everybody's like, do not buy anything that's made overseas, like LG and all that stuff, because like a lot of people when they go to buy the replacement parts, it's taking like 2 to 3 times as long to get the parts out because
I didn't think about
they're
that.
going through all that like trade BS right now. So like they're like, buy American if you can, because that way at least you know you're gonna get the parts fast. It might break down faster, but at least you'll get your parts faster.
Yeah, see, I seem to have better luck with just like basic ass shit. You know, like just like a basic Whirlpool or something like that seems to last a hell of a lot longer than me than the fancier shit. I don't know. So I'm actually wanting to get a new oven because the oven we have came with our house. It was the only appliance that we haven't replaced yet, and it works, but it's kind of janky. So I'm actually in the market for one of those as well here in the near future, and I'm not buying anything fancy. It's going to be like some Whirlpool basic ass fucking stove, and that's all I'm going to get.
Nice. Just reviews, and you might even find something for Black Friday.
Yeah, I thought about it, man. I definitely thought it because we have like the stainless. Yeah, because we're getting all the stainless steel stuff in there. So and my stove is just bright white, so it definitely stands out. So we want to get some stainless steel up in there.
Nice.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude, I was super stoked.
Yeah, seriously, congrats. Like, free ass shit, man. I love winning like giveaways too, because you never do. You always tell yourself like, oh, I've never won anything, and then you do, and like, oh, it's just the best feeling in the world, man. You feel so special for like fucking 5 hours.
Dude, I still feel special. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's gonna hold me for
every time he washes his drawers, man. He feels special.
That's a good point, man. Like, I've used the stuff that I've won before. Like, I won a T-shirt on Twitter once, and like whenever I wear it, I'm like, I won this. Like I didn't earn it at all, but I'm still somehow proud of myself. Like, I did this. I posted this on Twitter. I got this shirt.
Yeah, like the old like washer that I had. Like, you had to be like super like it was like super temperamental. Like, you had to like, you know, give it a sacrifice before like you put your laundry in. To make
yeah,
sure
that's how
like,
ours was too, man.
Right. Yeah, now it's just like, whatever, it all goes in. Like, just get it done.
Too good.
Our old one, like you literally had to punch the back of where all the buttons and dials are. You had
to
like,
literally, or figuratively, literally.
No, you literally had to punch the fucking thing and for it to get kick on. And it eventually got to the point where we kept punching it and it wouldn't kick on. So we're like, fuck, we're gonna buy a new one. So now this one's like one of the HE ones, and like you have to put significantly less soap in it because it's like a high efficiency one. And I didn't know that, so I just went ham on the soap like the old one, and yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, you learn all kinds of shit, man.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So that's all you got?
I don't know. I kind of, let me see. Is there anything else? Let me double check.
what can really top that?
I had to close my window because, like, my computer's starting to crap out. Because another one of those things I gotta do. Like that's like my next thing. But yeah, with the air quality being as crappy as it was,
is it because of the wildfires or whatever?
California's on fire, everybody.
Yeah, all of California.
All of California is on fire.
Like, yeah, it's the air quality is horrible, and I have asthma, so yeah, it sucks.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm totally like a bubble boy. Like I'm allergic to like everything green that grows, and like I have asthma, so like between the two, like it's just the summers are not good months for me. But we trying to keep baby healthy too, because we don't know what he has, if he has asthma or anything yet. So we're just chilling on the inside, and I decided, I'm tired of watching like baby TV because that's just crazy, just insane like repetition. So we decided to watch Cartoon Network, and I didn't know that Cartoon Network is like really just the same like show, like 5 shows. But
yeah,
like,
pretty much. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like Teen Titans.
They're all great.
Like, all day, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is like some of this stuff. Like these episodes, like nowadays, are just freaking crazy. And I don't know if you guys have watched like Gumball, but
a little bit, yeah.
That show, like, if you have the time, go on YouTube and watch this one called Choices. And it basically, like, oh my god, like to a kid like who doesn't pick up on like the nuances of like life in general, like it's funny. But like if you are an adult, that episode right there is the heaviest episode I've ever seen on a kid's channel. Like, I mean, like it talks about like it's almost going into like race like relations, and like the mom and the dad are like, the dad's like a bunny and the mom's like a cat, and like they fall in love with each other, and the parents like kick both of the kids out of the house, so they're gonna do it on their own. And like it shows them like going through like their whole life, like, basically like struggling to be like to get where they were.
Wow.
And it's just like, I was just like, damn. I had my wife watch it, and she was just like, Jesus, this is on a kid's channel? I was just like, yeah. I was like, it's crazy. But,
that's why my kid watches like Nick Jr. and Disney Jr. because all those cartoons just like teach you shit, like Paw Patrol and
yeah,
Peppa
but you can
Pig.
only watch like so many episodes of
as a parent,
and, like, Paw Patrol before you're just like, I need something different. And like this was just like that first weekend where we wanted to see if he was interested in any of these other shows. And like, something that was a little bit more like, because like he watches TV, but then he gets bored, which is great because like, we can play around and do other things, like stimulate his mind in another way. But sometimes you just need a break, like for a second, and like you just want to put him down in front of like the TV just to have him watch something else. But like, yeah, like we need to find something else.
I actually like Teen Titans Go. I think that show
it's great. It's
pretty well written, and there's a lot of jokes in there that appeal to like people my age that grew up in the 80s. That whole episode where they go back in time and like that 80s theme like rock song, and like everything's all like super 80s, and like that episode, oh man, what was the name of it? Like the I can't remember.
Sleeps Tonight or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think my dad's a fan of the show too. He showed me
Logan
some.
Watches it like crazy. So
dude, he showed me some clips, and he's been like, Elena, watch this, and I'm like, Dad, you're like a grown ass man showing me Teen Titans Go, and he's like, no, but it's funny. He'll show me We Bare Bears too, and like other shows as well, and I'm just like, you're so fucking weird and cool, you fucking weirdo. Watch Teen Titans Go, and I'm like, I'm younger than you.
I think it was like The Night Begins to Shine or something like that was the name of that episode.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's it. Yeah,
but it was all 80s rock themed, and like they were all like dressed up in like these like 80s like hair metal outfits, and they're like battling like cyber dragons and shit. Like it was. Yep. incredibly cool, and the music was cool. And I was like, if we just watched the movie just hit on Blu-ray. And if you like comic book parody stuff, the movie's actually really good. There's some sequences in there that make fun of just superhero tropes and stuff like that are really, really clever. So I do recommend checking that out. They had it in a red box, so we rented it for $1.50. My son and I watched it.
It's funny.
So
I heard that was actually Stan Lee's final cameo, despite being like a DC. He's like, oh yeah, I love all superheroes, and that was apparently his final cameo. It wasn't necessarily him because it was animated, but I thought that was kind of cool.
He's in it a couple times. They have a good gag where he just kind of comes up and goes, "Hey, it's me, Stan Lee." Like, hey, dude, this is a DC movie. He goes, "Oh shit, I gotta get out of here," and he like runs away. But
I think his last cameo was in the Spider-Man video game, wasn't it?
Well, which came out sooner. Like, did the Teen Titans Go movie come out like after? I mean, that's what I heard.
Well, it really depends on the development. You know, like
that's
when did they
true.
start recording?
That's true.
Because I know that like when Destiny 2 came, it was funny because on our last podcast we had a guest that was a I'm not going to name her name, but because I don't want to get her in trouble, but she was a high profile voice actress, and she accidentally leaked that she was in Destiny 2 before we knew Destiny 2 was out. Yeah, so she blurted it out on the podcast. She goes, "Oh yeah, I was in Destiny." Yeah, we edited it out for her so she didn't get in trouble.
Fucking cool.
But yeah, so she's like, "Oh yeah, I just got done with Destiny 2." We're like, "Destiny 2? Wait, what? There's a Destiny 2 coming out?" Yeah, and so she like completely ruined it. So, but yeah, she recorded her voices for that game before the game was even announced. So so sometimes they do that stuff really early.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, check out Teen Titans Go movie. Go to the movies or whatever it's called. It's worth a watch. It's funny. It's pretty good. All right, guys. I guess we'll just close it here. We've been running actually longer than I expected. So
I gotta pee.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed, man.
I gotta go play some Katamari Damacy on the toilet. I'll be back later.
I gotta do 2 more runs to Tetris Effect.
Hey, I gotta go pick up Fallout 76.
We get it. Your life is better. We get it.
So yeah, thanks again, Mike, for hopping on, taking over for Zach, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Awesome. And thanks again to Stohan Jovic for the feedback on last week's episode, and hopefully you got what you were seeking with our response there.
That was way too fun. Like, I had so much fun with that.
yeah, totally. And tune in next week because we got a lot of stuff going on next week. So we're going to be covering Pokemon Let's Go next week. We're going to be covering Spyro Trilogy next week, and most likely we'll probably be covering Battlefield 5 as well. So tune in then. We got a lot of stuff there. So don't forget to follow us on Twitter at That Pixel Life. Join our Facebook group. You can get on thatpixellife.com. We'll link to it to take you right there, talk games with us, and drop those iTunes reviews if you guys don't mind as well. We greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, anyone have any parting words?
Warframe comes out on the 20th. Don't forget if you want that.
That's the Switch version, right?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. We'll definitely be checking that out too.
Yep.
All right, everyone, have an awesome weekend. We'll see you next week, and keep on playing games and have fun. See you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Peace out.